And through it, oh, he offers me protection, a lot of love and affection, whether I'm right or wrong. And down the quantum realm, wherever it may take me, I know that life won't break me. When I come to call, he won't forsake me. Kang, 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 kang. I'm loving Ant-Man instead.
Welcome to Cutscene's review of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania on Worst Movie Ever.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Ant-Man. I'm pretty sure it's just an Ant-Man movie. I don't remember seeing the Wasp in any of it, actually.
It's Ant-Man and Cassie Lang, Quantumania.
Oh, yeah. Let's try and get Cassie Lang over.
Well, we've got to get this Young Avengers idea over.
Do we?
That I just don't think we're ever going to do.
I'm fine with that. I think there is definitely an annoying kid problem in phase 4, or I guess phase 5 now.
Yeah.
You know, everything past the good stuff.
Like, we've got Kid Miss Marvel. We have got Kid Hawkeye. We've set up Kid Hulk at the end of She-Hulk. We've got Kid Ant-Man in this one.
I would add, what was the last one we did? There's another kid. America Chavez.
Oh, yes, America. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
There's Multiverse Kid.
Yeah, the Multiverse Kid. Doctor Strange Kid. To set up
Thor's Kid.
Thor's Kid. That's another good one, yeah, which is the last one we did do. To set up a Young Avengers team.
But they're not all bad. I don't want to be like, you know.
Kate Bishop's great.
Unfortunately, they do have one thing in common. They're all women. And I don't want that to be the lesson.
Woke.
I think some people just go, oh, Disney tried to make a load of women my Avengers.
They had them all line up in Endgame.
We know the formula. It's white guys called Chris. And now you're trying to push women on me in my superhero movies.
Go woke, get broke.
Where's Ike? He would say this isn't going to sell a single toy.
Oh, no, he would be aghast at what they have done to his baby boy.
But, you know, it probably is also part of that. You know, Disney made a lot of creative decisions, I feel, based on the climate of late 2010s, early 2020s, when woke was more in vogue. And now woke's dead.
Woke
we all
is
know
gone.
that.
It's dead. It's in the wall. Like, it's gone.
But
woke
look, there are shining lights in this. Yelena, I would say, is actually, she is excellent. I'm so happy she's around.
Yeah.
Black Widow, young kid. Maybe Awkwafina, I guess. But Shang-Chi's not really... Yeah, Awkwafina, sorry. Awkward Fina. I really like her. So much that I know her name.
Yeah.
I guess she's the same age as Shang-Chi. But it could be like...
I wouldn't say she is part of Kid Avengers.
But that is a female character, a new female character they were trying to get over. The Eternals we're not going to even touch.
What? Why not?
Because I don't know if Head Punch Girl is technically a kid.
Oh, yeah, she doesn't count. She's not part of the Young Avengers.
Oh, man, I could name every single Eternal a month or two ago, and that has just been pushed out. It's the second we finished recording, bloop.
Do you want to give it a go? I'll have to get them up because I cannot remember who all of the Eternals are.
Icarus, Cersei.
Yeah. It's her... No,
it's like
MC.
Gilg. It's Gilgamesh is the name they're trying to evoke.
I think he is just called Gilgamesh.
Okay. God, there's so bloody many. But
you got Cersei, Icarus. Yep.
Gilgamesh.
Yeah, Gilgamesh. You've got there. So you're missing
Druid.
No, close.
Druin.
No, close.
Drew.
Close.
It's like Druid though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Druig.
Druig. Okay, yeah. I'll take that. Angelina Jolie. The lead is Cersei, isn't it?
Yeah, the lead's Cersei. That's Gemma Chan.
Angelina
Jolie's character. Yep, you have not got her.
It's like Hera.
Nope, but you're on the right track because I believe it is like Greek gods type name stuff.
God, how many more have I got to get?
So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So to get.
Shut up. Shut off. 6.
There's
I'm not
6
even
more to
halfway through.
Yeah. You haven't got Camille Nanjiani. You haven't got the young one. You haven't got...
the young one I should know.
The guy who created Hiroshima.
Heifer. Oh, it's Heifer or something.
It's not.
Is it not even close to Hef?
No.
Oh my God.
And you haven't got Salma Hayek either.
Oh, you're going to have to tell me.
So Salma Hayek was Ajak.
Mm-hmm.
Athena was
Okay,
Wonder
Athena,
Woman.
sure.
Makari, she was the Flash.
Forgot she was in it because she's right at the end.
Yeah. Fastos.
Hephaestus, yes.
Sprite. It's the young one.
I would never have got that. I was thinking more fairy, like was their name fairy something?
And the last one you were missing was Camille Nanjiani, Kingo.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Best thing in it. But anyway, yes, there's
Do you want to have a guess at what Kit Harington's character was called?
Well, he became like the Black Knight at
Yep.
the end, didn't he? Stephen.
So Dane.
Dane.
Yeah.
Sure. But back to Ant-Man
Yeah.
and the Wasp. Quantumania. Should be Ant-Man and Kang, shouldn't it? This functions, and it succeeds best as a Kang origin story.
So we'll get into this when we get into the history. Not the original idea or the original plan.
No kidding. Because this movie, it was halfway through, and I went, it's the Convergence. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, is Thor the Dark World.
Okay, in what sense?
In that I imagine there was because there is a good film in here, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's two different good films in here. Like you've just said, there's the Ant-Man 3, because I think there's some of the humor in this, and there's moments of sincerity that's actually quite touching. There's one shot which might be the best thing in the entire film, aside from Kang, of the two living houses holding each other.
Yeah. During the final battle and stuff, yeah.
That hit me out of nowhere. I actually controversially like MODOK.
Do you know what? Me too. And I did the first time round.
Same.
When I watched this the first time, because I saw this probably way after the fact. I did not see this in the cinema. I saw this on Disney Plus, and by that point, I'd already had the MODOK reveal that it was Darren Cross and what he looked like, and that it looked really naff. Because it does, like, the effects on MODOK are naff.
Yeah, at some points he looks like a PNG layer that's been left
and
in.
Is never looking at who he's talking to. At no point, at any time, is he looking directly at who he's supposed to be talking to.
Despite having eyes so large, they look at nothing.
Because it's quite hard to do. Because the face is so big, it's kind of hard to have the eyes focus in on MODOK is a very difficult character to get put on screen, especially when you're not spending money on visual effects and asking people to do it very, very quickly. But I did think it was kind of funny. And MODOK, I'm a MODOK guy. I love MODOK. So MODOK being this movie was already a thumbs up for me. And him being quite a wacky little performance is even better.
Yeah, I think Corey Stoll as an actor is really like one of the more underrated actors of the generation.
And his death is legitimately funny in the movie.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I died as an Avenger. And they all stand around going like, yep, you're in.
And he even gets like this little take my strong hand child tiny hand to stroke Scott Lang's face.
Because unlike the first Ant-Man, Quantumania is not that funny. Like it's fun.
It has moments.
It has its moments. It's funnier than Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
Like 1,000 times over funnier than Love and Thunder. But it is not as funny as the first movie. But there are moments like that, the death of MODOK, that legit are really, really funny.
Well, I think the death of MODOK, I think one of the, like in another movie, if this was a better movie, Queb is his name?
Veb,
the goo guy.
Yeah.
I think he'd be like a fan
standout.
favorite
Yeah.
cosplay everywhere character. He has a full arc.
Yeah,
Like when you
holes.
first see him, you've got holes, you're a human.
How many holes do you have?
And then he gets holes at the end, and it's this great reveal where he can like suck people into them.
It turns into Kirby.
Like that. I imagine there was a version of this film that played more with that group of characters.
Yeah, the Freedom Fighters.
Because it's crazy that Veb is voiced by one of the original Heist gang.
Yes. Weird, right?
Well, we'll get into that man's many superhero roles when we get to it.
Yeah.
But he has been in The Dark Knight. He has been in
Suicide
Ant-Man
Squad.
1 and 2,
Yeah.
The Suicide Squad, as Polka Dot Man,
Polka Dot Man.
also something about holes in a way. And now he's in this as, so it's very crazy. Like, he's very talented.
So we'll get into this later, but Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is a fascinating movie to look at with the MCU because it is both the start and the end of the Kang Dynasty. Because of this movie, Marvel decide we're going with Kang.
What about Loki, the series? Because, of course, he turns up there at the end of season 1.
Yeah, as He Who Remains, I think so, is his name. But going by the research I've done and people that have sort of spoken about Marvel, it was watching the dailies from Quantumania is when they decided we need to go with Kang. Kang is going to be our guy. We're going to build the rest. We're going to have the next Avengers movie be the Kang Dynasty, and we're going to build the rest of Phase 5 around Kang.
Wow. So Kang was originally meant to be a villain of the movie?
I guess so.
Even though he was set up in Loki.
And I guess they probably had some plans to do some multiversal stuff. But going by that, and as I said, we'll get into this later on. Maybe these insiders are wrong. Maybe like some of the things they're hearing are wrong. But going by it is they just decided he's the guy. We need to go ahead with this because the date. And in fairness, I thought this is the first time I saw it. He is the best thing in this movie.
Oh my God.
It's hard to talk about now because of its very checkered history and it's criminal convictions. But it's an incredible performance. And a captivating performance. The bit that I love the most about Jonathan Majors' performance as Kang is there is a line in this movie that is for sure written in the script as a joke. But he does not play it as a joke. And because he does not play it as a joke, it hits so much more. Which is when he goes, have I killed you before? There are so many of you that I forget you all merge into one. Are you the one with the hammer? Like, that is clearly written in the script to be a comedy line.
Because Scott plays it as a comedy line off of him.
But he does not.
Oh, yeah. We get mixed up all the time.
But he does not deliver it in a comedy way. And it makes it so much scarier that it's not a comedy line.
You know what? Because he is the standout thing in this movie. Like, but it's not even close. Just like how Loki is the standout thing in the Dark World.
Yeah.
Which is why, I compared them earlier. And that sort of, that middle act of Thor the Dark World and all the great stuff with Loki teaming up with Thor and then the betrayal, but it's all a swerve. That's what Kang is in the middle act here. Because the first third, the last third, total dross. The middle third, which begins with the reveal of who this ruler is, all the way through to probably the bit you're talking about before it goes into the final action third. I kept on writing, my God, it's not just Jonathan Majors' performance that's just otherworldly good. It's multiversal good. He is so well written.
Yeah.
Every line feels like it's the best line in this movie. Like it belongs to an Avengers Endgame caliber script. But actually, now you've said that, maybe it's just Majors' performance.
I think
he is elevating all of that dialogue.
100%. The line at the end of the movie as well that Scott has. So when I've watched this for the first time, I was like kind of numb to it. It looks gross because it looks unfinished at times. I'm fairly convinced that the actors were never on set together for the majority of this movie.
Michael Douglas is phoning it in hard.
He's so checked out. We'll have a quote from him later on, but he's so checked out. Michelle Pfeiffer is giving it her all, surprisingly so, but she's well into this. But Douglas is checked out like no one's business.
To have a Bill Murray cameo that's not funny, that's quite something. That's difficult to do.
Who then is killed, I think, in reshoots.
Really?
We'll get into that a little bit later on as well. I think he's supposed to be in this film longer based on an interview with another actor who filmed scenes with Bill Murray, but they never are on screen together in this film. But the thing that I actually take away at the end of it was, I love the reveal at the end when Scott has the realization, oh no, he should have come up because there's something so much worse coming. He was actually the good Kang. And now the Council of Kangs are coming, and we'll never be able to stop them because the only person who can stop them, I've sent to the Beyond Zone, and we'll never get back. And this crushing realization where it's like, I'm sure it'll be fine. I hope, I think it'll be okay. And I was like, that sets up a really cool Kang Dynasty movie that we're obviously never going to get, but I kind of really dug that.
I don't think you need... I guess we'll get into it when we go through things, but I think the ending is really naff. I remember watching it at the time and being like, oh my God, they're going to do something interesting. They're going to take these characters in a new direction rather than episodic reset back to where we were at the start of the episode so it doesn't confuse things in any future movies that tie into this. Create a more complex overall tapestry like we got in Phase 3. I thought Ant-Man and Wasp were going to be trapped down in the quantum realm.
Yeah.
And the whole movie seems to be building towards that. You don't fight for anything anymore, Scott. All of like that sort of theme that runs through it. And then what we get is the rest of the family get to escape. Scott is with Kang. They have a little fight. And I'm like, Scott cannot beat Kang because Kang is way too powerful. And Scott says, I don't have to beat you. We just have to lose.
Both of us have to lose.
What an actual ending that would be. If Scott then destroys the portal generator and then Kang and Scott, or maybe, just Scott, because Kang could get sucked down into an even deeper part of the quantum realm. Scott is now trapped in the quantum realm, and he's like, oh man, I guess I'm the king of the ants now down here. And then, in a future movie, in Secret Wars or whatever, or the Kang dynasty, when whatever the plans were, he breaks out of that, and that's the end game moment with all the big ant army. But we don't get that. Fricking Cassie Lang. I'm just entering some numbers on a keyboard.
Super
don't worry.
easy.
Portal's open.
Yeah.
Come back over to the above world, Dad.
There's a little bit of, well, that was super easy about Quantumania. In particular, Cassie just getting to be Giant Man. And it's just no issue whatsoever. And I'm like, do you remember in Civil War when he becomes Giant Man? He's like, I can only do it for a brief period of time because I get so woozy doing it. She just does it, and it's they have a full-on conversation as giant people, and it's like it's played off as it's the first time she's done it, and she's just totally fine.
Yeah, but then she starts to go, oh man, I'm hungry, and she sounds drunk, and then she shrinks down, and she passes out, and I'm like, oh okay, that's gonna, thank God, write Cassie out of the final action sequence because she's annoying. The very next shot, she's running up with them. I'm like,
just fine.
What? Why isn't she? Oh. Please, MODOK, take care of Cassie. We trust you. Or something like that.
I actually quite like the idea of, you pitching like it's Ant-Man that, with Kang and he's stuck down Cassie being stuck down the quantum realm. Because her setup in this movie, at the start of it is, she wants to work with freedom fighters. Like she's arrested for doing protests against, cops and like this sort of like peaceful protests, homeless people who have found themselves in this situation because of the blip, who have now come back and don't need to be rehomed. If she sacrifices herself to stay down the quantum realm to work with the freedom fighters to rebuild homes, that actually does kind of complete her character arc somewhat.
I don't. It's a problem with the movie as well that the character arcs are. Well, they're never really serviced. They keep telling you they're being serviced, but actually it's super muddled. There's one thematic strain that's like, we keep fighting, we keep getting up, which I like. I think that's actually the one. But then there's this other theme, which is we keep our word. Yeah. I'm like, we'll pick one. Like, the big justification of the final Giant Man running through the things. You didn't keep your word to me, Kang. And Kang, Janet not keeping his word to Kang and all. I'm like, it's not focused enough. But with the Cassie thing, it's Ant-Man. Cassie's argument at the start was, Scott, you don't have anything to fight for anymore. You've sort of stopped in a post-Endgame world. And he's very reasonably like, I saved the universe. Yeah. Give me a break. And she's like, no, you got to keep on fighting. So then for Scott to end up trapped in an almost cell, which is the thing he's been trying to escape, doesn't want to go back to prison. He's trapped in a prison, which is the quantum realm, and he has to help rebuild this entire race of people. That's a character arc complete.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
And Cassie is the vehicle for that.
Yeah.
It's not Cassie's character arc.
That's true. I agree with that. Also, it helps... what's the point I was going to make then? Because Cassie's whole thing as well is like, you've been gone and I've had to do this on my own. Which again, I was like, I think if Cassie is the one stuck in the quantum realm and actually she's the one who disappears, I think also sort of works for her. One of the big takeaways from this movie, when I've been looking back on reviews of it, from fans at the very least, is the point that you made earlier. It just goes back to the status quo, and we're just back to where we started. I was watching a video about the Kang Dynasty where I was like, fans were really surprised that no one died. Like, it's just all 5 members of the family are just alive at the end of the movie. They don't kill off Hank. They don't kill off Janet. They don't kill off Hope. They don't kill... Everything is just the same. I mean, we'll get into that when we get to the Kang Dynasty. And the reason I mentioned earlier the idea that this is both the beginning and the end of the Kang Dynasty is that, by all accounts, this movie, Jonathan Majors' performance in this movie, is so good, and the performance he gives in the end of season 1 of Loki is so good that they decide that's now our direction for the multiverses. We're going to build it around Kang and the Kang Dynasty. It's also the end because this movie tanks. And it's even before the legal stuff comes up, they were making questions about whether we should continue with Jonathan Majors as Kang.
So when did...
Or rather, Jonathan Majors as Kang. It's like, we should continue doing this Kang thing because clearly audiences aren't into it.
So when did Jonathan Majors... Because it was domestic...
Which we'll get into
assault.
later on, yeah. It is literally a month after.
It's a month after, so it didn't happen before release.
This film comes out in February. The allegations came out against him in March. And the decision to drop him happens in December, which is when the criminal convictions. But going by reports, Marvel were already considering, even before the allegations came out, about pivoting away from the Kang Dynasty.
Purely because of the financial performance.
Purely because of the financial performance.
It's not Kang's fault. He's not even on the headline billboard.
I know, and it's funny because we did our review of the Doomsday trailer, and we were pretty down on it. By all accounts, the one that was shown at San Diego Comic-Con was much well received. Apparently, that's a much better trailer.
Could be out by the time you're listening to this.
Could be out by the time. I would be surprised, because that would have been like a month between release, but it might be out by now. But people were quite down on us being down about Doomsday. But one of the points we kept making about Doomsday was like, well, there's been no build for Doomsday. And I think that's been a real talk with Kevin Feige's been like, there's been loads of builds for Doomsday. There's their balls. Like, how many times has Doom been mentioned in a movie? I can tell you it is 0, and he's been on screen for 2 seconds in the post-credits for Fantastic Four. But my ultimate thing with Doomsday, watching the trailer for it, is that you're not looking at creative decisions. You're looking at business decisions. And when we go through the history of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania and the history of the Kang Dynasty, because we'll get into that later, what you're looking at is business decisions of, this is not working, we need to pivot, what do we need to do? Call Robert Downey Jr. And it's Robert Downey Jr. that says, I'm only going to do this if you bring back the Russos. And then it's McFeely and Marcus coming back on board. It is the band getting back together. That is a business decision because the business of Quantumania was not there that has led us towards Doomsday. It is a business movie, not a creative movie.
In a way, it's a behind-the-scenes Endgame.
Yeah.
Everyone at the end of Endgame, the MCU, as we know it, creative team and some of the main actor stars, they Thanos'd away. They went to move on to other things. They've been working on this universe for, some 6, 7, 8 years. And then, after the blip, they've been brought back post-Quantumania.
Very true, actually, yeah.
Do you reckon we could... Because there's 2 ways I want to personally approach this, which is the Ant-Man as a trilogy, and then the MCU Phase 4 build to this.
Interesting, okay.
Should we do Ant-Man as a trilogy first?
Yes, because I think that actually, that's our first little bit of like history of this movie. This is again directed by Peyton Reed, which is a departure from Marvel's post-Endgame ethos, which is we need to bring in new directors. We need to be giving these projects to new people we've not worked with before. But Peyton Reed is actually one of the few returning directors, and Taika Waititi obviously for Love and Thunder. And one of the reasons why is that he is a guy, he gets this character, and for the first time in Ant-Man movie history, we do not want this film to feel like a palate cleanser. Because Ant-Man came after Avengers Age of Ultron, felt like a palate cleanser for Phase 2. Ant-Man and the Wasp came after Infinity War, which felt like a palate cleanser between those Avengers movies. So they had a real mindset of, we do not want this to feel like another palate cleanser movie. We want this film to have stakes. And at one point, Peyton Reed's like, I want this to feel like an Avengers movie.
Well, I can see the ambition at points there. It's definitely not executed in that way. But if that was the intent, have something impactful at the end of it. I know we've got, actually, was Kang really the good guy here? But really, all the characters that we're used to are in the exact same place that we saw them before.
I would disagree with that, because this movie does end with the big impact of the Council of Kangs, and it's telling you what the next Avengers movie is.
Yeah, but so
and this movie is building
for the overall thing, but for the Ant-Man character.
Oh, for the Ant-Man character, this is
total reset.
But, when we get into the Kang dynasty, Ant-Man is quite a focal figure within that, and that is because of his actions within this movie. So I will disagree there, but that is only because you'll never see the Kang dynasty. You will never see the movie that does follow on from this, that means this movie does have the stakes and weight that you kind of hope it does.
So over the course of this year and this series, I've been enjoying tremendously, even the bad ones and the filler ones and the medium ones, rewatching, mostly in order, every single MCU movie. I haven't watched Wakanda Forever. I'm going to do that this weekend.
I am too.
Because then after this we have...
Is it the Marvel? It's the Marvels next, right?
The Marvels?
Which is our next movie we're doing next month.
Yes. Yeah, so Wakanda Forever ends Phase 4. Oh no, we got Guardians Volume 3.
Oh yeah, it's Guardians 3,
between Quantumania and the Marvels. Then Deadpool and Wolverine. Then Captain America, Brand New World. Then Thunderbolts. So we're in a sort of like... terrible one, great one, terrible one, great one, terrible one, great one.
I'm glad you included Brand New World. What's it called? Brave New World.
Brave New World.
In one of the great ones.
Brand New Day. Brand New... Oh, what? So that was a slight at Deadpool,
that was me making a joke about Deadpool.
You know your gimmick.
Yeah.
Why are there so many Ant-Man films? Because I'm looking... As I've gone...
3.
Yeah, but in the grand scheme of the 30 movies that we've had... You look at all the great characters there are, and when they're introduced, and you're like, well, Captain... On rewatch, I always thought, oh, well, Guardians, that's my top trilogy. Watching back, Captain America's my best trilogy.
I'd agree with that.
I'm not really counting Avengers.
No, well, there's 4 films.
Yeah, well, Spider-Man. Spider-Man is a trilogy from Homecoming to No Way Home. Excellent.
Superb.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
It's in touching distance with Cap as the trilogy. And then Guardians is right there as well. And then you're like, oh, and there's these 4 Thor films.
2 of which are good.
As a trilogy, like, well, it's not as good as those because you've got Dark World in the middle.
Yeah.
And now as a quadrilogy, actually half of them are crap.
I'd say 2 of them are good. The first Thor is... fine.
Oh, I really like it. It's innocent.
It is, but it's innocent. Yeah, like it is a good movie.
It's 4 stars.
It is not 4 stars.
Oh, I gave it 4 stars.
No, I think that's a 3.5 star film.
But then I'm looking at all these ones that get multiple installments. Ant-Man has got to be the worst trilogy.
I disagree.
What's the worst? What is the worst? Series. Okay, let's break out of trilogies. Series.
Because Iron Man is one of the other series. First Iron Man's awesome. I really like Iron Man 3. I know it's divisive among some people, but I really like Iron Man 3. Iron Man 2 is so-so. It is sequelitis, but that is a fine series of movies. I guess the reason I wanted to jump to the defense of Ant-Man is I really like the first one.
Yeah, I agree. But it's not even like the best.
I think you're right. I really like the first one. Ant-Man and the Wasp. I forget it. And I know that Ghost is in it, but I cannot tell you much else about it. And
I rewatched it, a month or 2 ago, in between Infinity War, Endgame, Captain Marvel. It is phoned. It's not. The second half is phoned in. It has some funny moments. You get like the cast of characters that you loved from the first movie back, which you don't get in Quantumania. You haven't got like Michael Pena and stuff. But it is just there to explain to set up the time travel element.
It is, yeah. It is there for the post-credit sequence to explain why Scott Lang is not in Infinity War and he gets stuck in the quantum realm.
But also, this is the device that we're going to use to fix everything in Endgame.
Exactly. That's what I mean. So it is a MacGuffin movie. It's actually really, when I've been doing my rewatch, I didn't bother watching it because I knew what I needed to take away from it, which is time travel in the back of the van. Well, actually, even then, it's a quantum realm machine, like in the back of the van. That is kind of all you need to know because that is the van that's going to be in storage in Endgame. That's the only thing you need to know, and it explains why everyone they get dusted away.
And Janet's back.
Yeah.
You're like this. I was talking to a friend who went to a Marvel quiz recently.
Fun.
So a whole pub quiz specifically on the MCU, not
Beautiful.
Marvel, MCU. Yeah. And the question was, what phase is Ant-Man in? And they said that the answer was phase 3. They said phase 3. And one of the guys on my mate's team was drunk and very belligerent and argued the quizmaster down. I was like, you are wrong. It is phase 2.
It's phase 2.
I know it's phase 2.
It's the last movie of phase 2.
Yeah.
Because Avengers, oddly, does not close phase 2.
Yes, yeah. The quiz was wrong.
So, okay, but did the quiz... Get on fucking Wikipedia.
It's a Marvel
right
quiz.
There.
I know. Just...
It's not even like that's a debatable thing. Like, that's Marvel chronology.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I know. But yeah, just that this whole... Not only are the Quantumania... Ant-Man and the Wasp, skippable.
Yeah.
It's an email. Quantumania, actively terrible.
Yeah, it's not a good film. I gave it 2 stars on Letterboxd.
The first Ant-Man movie, really fun heist film.
Yeah, really good.
But
I'd love to have seen the Edgar Wright version of that movie, but I do really like it.
But at the end of the day, it's just 4 stars. If you look at if you look at the movies around that, Guardians, Winter Soldier.
It's better than The Dark World.
Yeah, you're right. It's better than Dark World, and it's better than Age of Ultron.
It is better than Age of Ultron.
But other than that, Civil War, Doctor Strange, maybe it's as good as Doctor Strange.
Yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp, or the first Ant-Man.
First Ant-Man.
Yeah, I'd say, I like it more than I like Doctor Strange.
Spider-Man Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther. This, Ant-Man is actually the bottom of the great period.
It's also not the biggest box office hit either, which we'll get onto for numbers. I think, to answer your question, why is there another Ant-Man movie? I think it's Paul Rudd. I think that they love working with Paul Rudd, and that Paul Rudd is... Because I love Paul Rudd in all the other movies that he features in. I really like him in Endgame. I love him in Civil War. I think they like having Paul Rudd in movies.
I love Paul Rudd. He's not a box office draw.
No.
What? So why is MCU... Like, Ant-Man is not a top-tier character.
So I think because they're much like... Ant-Man and the Wasp, they need to do stuff with the quantum realm to explain some multiverse stuff that they do want to do for the multiverse saga. It's weird as well because...
But you've already done... Because, sorry to cut you off, Phase 4, No Way Home. It's multiverse.
Yeah.
I don't have to go tiny. I've just watched No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness, and there's a girl who can just skip across.
Yeah.
She just skips across, she makes a little star portal, they go across. No one goes tiny.
No. It's weird when I look back at the history of this, because the way that it's talked about is this is when they decide we're going to go with this multiverse thing, we're going to go with Kang. But I'm like, but you were setting up movies that were doing multiverse things beforehand. And I kind of wonder if you were doing that just because that was your way to bring in the X-Men now that you own it, and to have the Fantastic Four come in or do whatever you wanted to do. So should we get into this? Or do we want to talk about our personal history with this movie first? And sort of like within the world of Phase 4. Let's do that and to 5.
Because I think that's important in what you're going to talk about. So, first thing, why are there so many Ant-Man movies?
Paul Rudd is the answer.
Second is, Phase 3, the greatest run of consistent movies of all time. And then that ends and you've got Black Widow. I'm like, we've covered that. You can see our thoughts. I'm like, fun middle third. It's interesting, isn't it? A lot of the bad Marvel movies, good middle, genuinely good middle third.
Yeah.
But the start and the end are just, the end is just some big CGI fight scene that doesn't mean anything.
Usually probably the reshoots.
And the third is loads of awkward exposition.
Yeah, it's exposition setup.
But we've got Black Widow, which isn't really a start of anything new.
No, it's done as a tribute movie to a dead character.
You get Yelena.
And to set up Yelena.
Shang-Chi.
Awesome.
Great. We love it.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it deserves more love than it gets. It's so much fun.
So right now, Black Widow, okay, that was kind of an epilogue to Endgame. I know it's Phase 4, but really it's Ant-Man Phase 2. Shang-Chi. Okay, great. This is what I want from Phase 4.
We are setting up some new things here.
Eternals. Oh, no. Okay. They had a misstep.
Not everyone's a winner.
Okay, we'll move past that. Spider-Man No Way Home.
Great.
You look at this. Black Widow, this is all 2021. This is what the MCU used to be. 3-4 movies a year.
Bearing in mind, some of this has changed because pandemic kicked things back.
But this is just the year of 2021. July, Black Widow. September, Shang-Chi. Sure, Eternals was rubbish in November, but it doesn't matter because 6 weeks later, Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
It's incredible. You know, this is the last one I watched, really. Well, I did a few things out of order here. I watched it 2 weeks ago, and I'm just like, this is an excellent film.
I'm annoyed that the internet has decided to rewrite that a film is good. But a lot of people just say that it doesn't look good in terms of like the effects in it and naff. But like I'm looking at the effects in this one, comparing it to Quantumania, and I'm like, well, this is a studio, Sony, who have spent some money on their visual effects. And I actually think it looks like, no, the lizard's wasted in this film.
Oh, the lizard does look weird. But, you know,
but it's not even just that he looks weird. He does nothing in the movie, and I was like, "What do you want him to do?"
There's like
it's the
20
lizard.
characters. Honestly, that
the
film,
focus is Green Goblin. Defoe's so good in that film.
Defoe's great. Melina's great. Yeah. You know, happy. There are so many characters in that film. That feels more like an Avengers movie because it's just the climax of so many things. It's beautiful. Then you get Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness. It's not terrible.
It's not. It didn't hold up on its second watch. On its first watch, I was super into it because it's the funness of the multiverse, and you get, you know, like Captain Peggy, and you get Charles Xavier in the little yellow chair and the X-Men theme. Like it is key jangling fun, and John Krasinski is Mr. Fantastic. It is. I actually did have a lot of fun with it, and I really liked Wanda in it, but. And it's Sam Raimi, and I loved like Zombie Strange and stuff. But on its rewatch, it did not hold up as much as I remembered it being.
Yeah, especially off the back of No Way Home, where Doctor Strange is such a great character in there, and they're dealing with things about, you know, about the blip and Endgame. It's like the after effects of Endgame and Infinity War's blip are still being felt. But then I feel like Doctor Strange comes along and nope. We're moved on now.
Well, in the MCU book, they say that Marvel had decided they had created something that they didn't really want to address. So they just started to not ignore that it happened, but just move on from it. So that, you know, there's a mention of the blip here at the start of this movie, and they do every now and again they will talk about it. But what they don't want to do is address the ramifications of the blip. They just sort of want to say that it happened and then move on to the next thing.
Which is such a shame because I feel like, well, we'll get into it, Quantumania does lack a lot of emotional tension. They keep saying, oh, Cassie and Scott, and, you know, they're arguing over how she should live her life. I'm like, are they?
Yeah.
I don't feel like they are.
It's oddly, as a movie, missing Judy Greer.
Who's Judy Greer?
Her mum.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And the dad as well.
Yeah, they mention him. They mention them. They mention them, Judy Greer at the very least. But she's not in the movie. And I think she's sort of needed in there.
To balance out.
Out. Because like that was actually one of the best bits of, and one of the nice things about Ant-Man and the Wasp is the relationship between Scott and Cassie and sort of the tensions that then come between Scott and Judy Greer. And like, you know, the feelings of the three of them.
You know what? I really felt that in No Way Home, rewatching that, because the first third of that film isn't the villains from the 2000 and 2012 movies. It's, oh man, we need to get into MIT together.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing in the world to these three teenagers.
Yeah.
It's that human everyday element. And that, even Ant-Man and the Wasp, you're right, you have that stuff where it's just Scott trying to get a job or share custody with his wife over his kid. You get none of that here. It's just quantum realm. Like, where's the humanity?
Well, they wanted to make a big Avengers movie. They didn't want it to be a palate cleanser.
Well, you know, one of the revolutionary things that Stan Lee did with comic books is weaving the spectacular superhero stuff with the everyday concerns of a teenager or a 20-something. So, and the Phase 4 lost sight of that somewhere. But yeah, we get Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, Thor: Love and Thunder. That was our last episode.
It's our last episode, huffing its own farts.
Big creative misstep. I think a lot of people who would stick around for the big tentpole stars of Phase 3, like Thor and Ragnarok, they're like, oh no, I'm done.
Yeah.
Actually.
And I think you can see that in Doomsday, because that Thor that's there is not the one that's from Love and Thunder. They have just sacked off everything that was in Love and Thunder, and he is just Infinity War Thor.
And then I remember going to see Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which is the last movie of Phase 4 in IMAX, like opening day, because I was like, well, I love Black Panther. And I've not rewatched it yet. I was so disappointed.
I remember that you came in the following day to work so crushingly disappointed by that film. And I'm sure you make the point now, your whole argument was, this was the first Marvel movie to address a real-life situation and deal with the death of a character.
And I thought, well, Ryan Coogler is the man to do that. Like, that, he's not made a bad film. He's an incredible director. All the way back to Fruitvale Station, which before he got into the big budget stuff. And it's just like, they deal with it at the start, but then it's, but now we need to set up the payoff with the TV stuff. What happened, and this sort of solidified in my mind this morning, is by the time Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania comes out, February 17th, 2023, it's the first film of the whole MCU I didn't go to the cinema to watch. This is it sounds like not many people did, because Marvel suffered the business ramifications of that. And that is a huge thing. And I now no longer think it's because of the quality of the movies. Because if you look back at this, I enjoyed Black Widow. I love Shang-Chi. I hated Eternals. I thought No Way Home was one of the best films they've ever made. I thought Doctor Strange was fun. When I watched it, I really enjoyed Thor Love and Thunder. I hated Wakanda Forever, but I could recognize there were real-life things that changed things. But you know what? It was the pressure of the TV.
Yep. It was just what I've been saying across this whole series when we got to this point in time is a lot of the there are failures within Marvel, absolutely, and we'll get on to some of those. A lot of people put the blame at Kevin Feige's feet, which is where it should be landed. But I think so much more lands at Bob Chapek and Bob Chapek's decree of make me content and make it now, and not just that word there, make me content. I need content to fill a streaming platform that currently only has stuff that is archived in Disney. I need new stuff, and I need you and I need Kathleen Kennedy to make me content. Because you ran through the films there, but the bigger picture is Disney Plus. January 2021, it's WandaVision. March 2021, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. June 2021, Loki. November 2021, Hawkeye.
Is this all 2021?
There are,
and they released 4 movies that year as well.
There were 4 movies and 4 TV series in 2021.
And you look at that Black Widow, I was one of the few people to support Scarlett Johansson's paycheck. And I actually saw it in the cinema, not on Disney+. But WandaVision. Loved it. Didn't love the final episode.
Yeah.
Undermined in Doctor Strange. You know, that's really the big sin of Doctor Strange, what they did to Wanda's character arc. Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Best described by Laurie Blake as it is a 6-part TV series to explain a new suit.
And where did it go? Like there was
Brave New World.
Brave New World, yeah, like 2 years later.
And they brought back Steve.
What were Thunderbolts? It set up. What was the other one? Loki, I didn't like it.
I liked Loki.
I get that I'm in the minority though. I did not think it was a well-made TV show. I love the world they created, but I just didn't find it an engaging thing. It felt like bad Doctor Who.
So I disagree. I like Loki, but there is one thing about Loki I don't like, and it's my big issue with the multiverse, is the second you introduce the multiverse, you remove so much stakes from everything. Because if there are infinite versions of every character, then it doesn't matter if a character dies. Because there's infinite versions of those characters that can just come in. And there's a moment I think it's in the first episode of Loki, when they make a joke about, the Infinity Gems, yes, we usually use them as paperweights around here. So this whole thing that we spent years building as this ultimate force, and this guy got it, and he snapped his fingers and he wiped out half of existence. It was this ultimate act. Oh no, yeah, it's actually nothing. Like, we're a group of people, there's paperweights to us. Oh, well, fuck me then. Fuck me for caring about this thing, because apparently they mean nothing, because there's infinite versions of them, and it actually doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, phase 1, 2, and 3, Thanos, the threat there, you've got that, and you've got Infinity Cones. So no, in the multiverse or on Earth, no one cares about that.
Yeah.
It's funny now. We've moved on. I haven't moved on.
So,
I want you to explain the blip emotional ramifications.
Hawkeye is the one I will go to bat for.
You love Hawkeye.
I loved Hawkeye.
I've never seen it.
I really, really liked Hawkeye. And I think it is the best that Jeremy Renner has been as Hawkeye the character, because it gives him so much to dive into and actually chomp onto the bit of the character, which is something that he has talked about he rarely gets to do as Hawkeye. And I think Haley Steinfeld is great as Kate Bishop. I think she's so good. And this is just a me thing, the villain reveal I popped huge for, because it's a big mystery throughout the entire series. When they revealed who it is, I jumped out of my chair in excitement of who it was. Genuinely loved it. And then in March 2022, it's Moon Knight.
Oh, yes.
Which, yeah, not a lot of people liked. I think Oscar Isaac is one of them.
It's like you've got Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
It's mad though, isn't it? Because I watched all of WandaVision, watched all of Captain America, Winter Soldier, watched all of Loki. And then by the time Hawkeye came around, I was like, well, I'll get to it. But then I never watched it.
Yeah.
And I never watched Moon Knight. And I think your core base, and it's what WWE ran into a problem with, I believe, with the whole super serving. Your most passionate fans, who are going to be those ones that spread the grassroots good vibes, they're completists.
Yeah.
And it's just a weird function of my fandom brain. If I miss one, the momentum is completely derailed for me.
I'm on this with podcasts.
Yeah.
I will listen to a podcast that gets released weekly, and I'll listen to every episode. If I miss one, and then there's a second episode that's sat there, I'll have to get to that. Because, I mean, some podcasts, like Talking Simpsons, for example, they're like 2.5 hour episodes every week. So if I miss one of those weeks, and then I'm looking at 2 podcasts that are now 5 hours worth, I'm like, I'll have to find some time to get to those eventually, because I've got some other podcasts that I need to get to. And
there's also this thing of it's such an old-fashioned way of thinking, but I think it's actually born truth, especially with the climate we're living through this year in 2026. Things are devalued when you can watch them at home.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Star Wars, we talked about this when we did The Mandalorian and Grogu, does not feel prestigious because it feels like it's a TV. It's like watching the In-Betweeners movie.
And Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, start of 2023, comes off the back of 2 full years of 7 films in the cinema, and how many?
Well, we haven't even finished them all yet.
Oh, wow. So we have 4 in 2021.
So 4 in 2021,
Moon Knight.
then Moon Knight, March 2022, Miss Marvel, June 2022, She-Hulk Attorney at Law, August 2022.
So 7.
There are
same amount.
There are 7 TV series across 18 months of time. That is a new TV series every 2.5 months.
Yeah, and what you're doing is you're changing the fan behavior. It's like, oh, I can watch it at home. It's not, you have to go to the cinema. Yeah. This is the big prestige thing. This is a night out with friends and maybe a meal and concessions.
Yep. And also within that is, you look at the last one of those, She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Such a divisive show. Not a lot of people liked it, but the big thing that everyone can agree on is it looks like shit a lot of the time because the effects look unfinished.
Shit-Hulk.
Because it's where they had the big shift in Marvel of, and it's a Disney decree, need to make this, we haven't got the budget. It's not, we have got the budget, it's just we want to spend that money to make this look good. And the budgets for She-Hulk episodes, we'll get into this later, were bigger than some budgets of Game of Thrones.
My God.
For every episode. And it doesn't look, none of that's on screen. At least it doesn't look like it, because a lot of the transformations don't work. And the other thing with the TV series is they had plans, and then they tried to use the Marvel method on those. And the Marvel method works in film, but the second you do it on TV shows, there's so many more hours. And when you have something that's planned for episode 6, and you decide, oh no, we'll put this in episode 1, that's just, you haven't got the time. There is not enough time to make those shifts around and make it look good.
The Marvel method being that we'll keep working on everything until the very final moment.
Yeah. Does not work with the TV series.
Big changes. We don't really have a fixed script. Yeah. So many people have come up to me, and I'm sure you as well, about Doomsday and gone, God, have you heard they haven't even finished the script? I'm like, well, actually, historically, I've been doing this podcast series.
Yeah, they were doing that on every movie. Like that is not a new thing for Marvel.
You know, the old Vince McMahon days, and it was like, well, there is one guy in control of everything. So if something's good, you've got to attribute it to Vince.
Yep.
If something's bad, you've also got to attribute it to Vince. And the fact of the matter is that technique created, again, the greatest run of film releases of all time.
Yeah, find it in the edits. And they find this movie in the edit, and that find in the edit is, let's do more Jonathan Majors.
So, yeah, by the time we get to Ant-Man Quantumania, the start of Phase 5, it's the first movie I didn't go to the cinema to watch.
Yeah.
I watched it, I guess it would have been 2 months later. I think it was shortly before WrestleMania that year that it had come out.
Yes, February, yeah.
But by the time it came out on Disney Plus.
Oh, right, yeah.
I just watched it. And I paid the money.
Oh, so I didn't do that. I waited until it was like just available to stream. So I nearly did go and see this in the cinema. I had a weekend where my sister-in-law was coming round, and she and my wife had plans for the evening. So I was like, I'm going to go to the pictures. Go pictures on my own. But I live in a very small village, which doesn't have a cinema, so I would have to travel out to go to the cinema. And the week leading up to it, I unfortunately crashed my car. And
it was that week.
And it was in the car where I was in that 6-car pileup.
Yeah.
So my car was completely written off, which meant it was quite hard for me to get out of town. I have a bus that can take me into town, but it stopped running at 6:30. So I have no bus that then takes me back out of town, back to my little village. If I was to get a train, even though it is a 20-minute car ride, it would take me an hour and 40 minutes on the train, because I would have to get one train to another place, wait for half an hour to change to another train to get me onto a different line. So I was like, oh man, I can't be arsed with that. I'm just going to get the train. It's actually quicker for me to get the train straight into London than it is for me to get the train to a 20-minute town that is away from me. It's actually quicker for me to go straight into London, because it only takes me an hour. And by the time I get to that, I'm like, oh, I'm going to Leicester Square. I'm going to go to the Prince Charles Cinema then. If I've got the option, I'm going to go to the Prince Charles Cinema and see what's on. I can't remember what I went to go and see, but I went to the Prince Charles Cinema instead of going to see this.
You were going to the cinema. Ant-Man was on.
Yeah.
And you chose to saw probably an old film.
Do you know what? No, sorry, I tell a lie. I did watch an old film. I actually watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, because I hadn't seen it at that point. So I actually stayed at home and I watched that on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, everyone always points to that as you know what? That might be another downfall in the MCU, because an independent movie came out that did the multiverse incredibly well. All of the people who like the MCU, that passionate fan base, would have seen that film.
Yeah.
And then when they watch Doctor Strange, they'll go, but how did this A24 movie do it way more creatively?
Where are the rocks talking to each other?
Where are the sausage fingers? As opposed to, I remember someone saying this, like, oh, your big plan for the multiverse alternate dimensions is red means go and green means stop. Whoa. Food is free.
So for me, it's the exact same as Star Wars. Of the amount of content that was put out killed my investment within this, because once I stopped watching a Star Wars series, like I'd watch 2 episodes of it and then not finish it, I'm like, oh, maybe I'm done with Star Wars. Because I'll watch 2 episodes of Obi-Wan. I'm not really into this. I'll watch 2 episodes of Mandalorian Season 3. I'm not really into this. I'll watch 1 episode of The Acolyte. I'm not really into this. And it's the same thing. And you talk about the run of films, but the run of TV series, WandaVision, people loved it at the start, kind of underwhelmed by that final episode. Do you remember when Quicksilver showed up?
My God.
And it was X-Men Quicksilver, and I was like, oh my God! And it's like, oh no, it was a joke. He's an actor.
And because it was being released weekly in the pandemic, we had nothing else. Yeah. The whole next week, people came round to my house to watch the finale.
No way!
That's how into it we were.
Yeah.
It was all, don't worry, it was all under regulation at the time, I believe.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier, everyone thought was fine.
Yeah.
A lot of people liked Loki. You were not one of them. I don't know if actually that many people watched Hawkeye. I certainly don't know many people that saw it. Within my friendship group, most people start to drop off around that midway point of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Moon Knight was very divisive. Sorry, I skipped one. So Loki, Hawkeye, there it was. Yeah, Moon Knight, very divisive. Miss Marvel, again, pretty divisive. I really liked it, but I don't know a lot of people that watched it.
I feel like the post Moon Knight, it felt like it was shifting from what we wanted it to be, which was HBO level, really serious, long form TV series. I didn't like Loki, but I could see it fitted in more of that bracket. But Miss Marvel felt like it was more of a kiddie thing, like more of a network TV, more like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
It does feel quite network TV, actually. And it's less that like Moon Knight was divisive, or I think it's more the Hawkeye thing. I think people just stopped watching, or like it just wasn't appealing to the mass market anymore. So not as many people watched Moon Knight, which meant that not as many people watched Miss Marvel, and then a lot of people just hated on She-Hulk, which leads us, and like that's the last thing in TV wise before you get into Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. So I think
what movie did you not see first in the cinema?
it was Black Widow, because I didn't go. Bearing in mind as well, the other thing to remember for me is that I had a kid in 2021, so going to the cinema was a bit of it became a luxury for me to go to the cinema because all of my time was like devoted to my child. And I when I say that as well, it's not just my kid time devoted to my child. I don't have relatives close by that can look after the kid, so I don't have instant babysitters that I can call upon, so that me and my wife can go off and have an evening out. So that's a really rare occurrence for us.
We'll say that's still pandemic time as well.
Still pandemic
so
time.
Black Widow was, not. Sometimes it was difficult.
And I saw Shang-Chi because you and I went to go and see it. We went to a press screening of it. I went to go see No Way Home. I saw Multiverse of Madness. I did not see Wakanda Forever, and I did not see this.
What about Thor: Love and Thunder?
Oh, I saw Thor: Love and Thunder.
Okay, but not Eternals.
Nope, didn't see Eternals. That was a Disney Plus one.
We'll write off the 2021 year. So really, it's Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. But I feel like no one went to see that.
Well, we say that no one went to go see it. It did really well at the box office. It did nearly $1 billion.
Okay, anecdotally,
yes.
A bunch of my mates still went to see Thor: Love and Thunder because I remember Chris, who you know now, going, "Oh, I'm done now."
Yeah,
and he never came again. And by the time Black Panther came out, it was just me and Mario, and this group of 6 people. Not including you. Sometimes, I'd see them with you, would go and see every MCU movie. Black Panther, it was just 2. And it's just because Mario will come and watch whatever film is on.
Yeah. My wife, I would use is my sort of like litmus test in terms of this. And again, it's very anecdotal. I could feel her tapping out because she was so into the MCU. Like we both were. We were so massively into it. The 4 of us, actually the 5 of us, because Pete came in as well, went to go see Endgame together. And I think that was the last time my wife was super into it. She loved WandaVision, but again, that last episode she was fine with. I could feel her tapping out during Falcon and the Winter Soldier. She watched the first episode of Loki and said, this is not for me. She didn't like the concept of setting up. She's like, it's just not for me. And then she did watch Hawkeye with me. She tapped out on Moon Knight. She endured through Miss Marvel, though she thought it was fine. And she also endured through She-Hulk Attorney at Law. But we've watched movies. She did not get on with Multiverse of Madness. She actually walked out halfway through us watching this. She was just like, I'm done with this. I'm quite bored. So she didn't finish watching this one. We watched Wakanda Forever. She loved Guardians 3. She fell asleep during Wakanda Forever. So like this woman who was so into the MCU has just been so blasé about everything that's come after it, and it has just been this sort of like steady decline of interest, which will lead us into should we now get into the breakdown of how we got to this point?
Yes, those are our personal histories.
So Ant-Man and the Wasp released in 2018 sees Scott get stuck in the quantum realm to explain why he's not there for an Infinity War, and he returns for Endgame to come up with a time heist. There was talk about a third movie after the release of Ant-Man and the Wasp, which was then confirmed in November 2019 when The Hollywood Reporter reported that Peyton Reed was signing on to direct a third one. Variety added that eventually Lily and Michael Douglas would also be returning.
So what, Peyton Reed at that point, you said earlier, departure for the Phase 4 vision of getting new directors in, but they stuck with Peyton Reed.
Stuck with Peyton Reed. The Variety adds, this marks one of the rare instances in which the same director has helmed every film dedicated to a single Marvel character, although Ryan Coogler will be returning for the Black Panther sequel. The studio has enjoyed mixing it up with different takes on each Marvel hero. In the case of Reed, studio execs thinks he has a real grasp on the Ant-Man universe and want to see him return to wrap up his trilogy.
Yeah, it's weird because when I think of Ant-Man, I still think of Edgar Wright.
And Joe Cornish.
I think of Edgar Wright, Joe Cornish, Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
Then I probably think of the director Peyton Reed.
Yeah, I do as well. Were you at that Prince Charles Cinema screening of the Cornetto trilogy with Edgar Wright there?
No.
When he screened his Ant-Man footage?
No.
Because I was there. I was there for that trilogy screening. And yeah, Edgar Wright said like, here's what you could have won.
Oh my God.
It's awesome. Like, it's online now. You can go and watch it.
I've not seen that.
Have you not seen that?
No.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah,
I'll watch it in a bit.
Right, okay, so got to talk about the controversy, but not the one you're thinking of. Because on March 20th, 2020, we've got this covered right. We're used to seeing Hope Van Dyne do her bit to save the world of the MCU, but the actress who plays her, Evangeline Lilly, has been accused of endangering public safety over the past couple of days. Earlier this week, the Ant-Man and the Wasp actress took to Instagram to reveal that she has taken her kids to gymnastics camp and is living life of #business as usual. The post received a lot of blowback from those who felt she was putting her own family and others at risk, given the widespread advice right now is to practice social distancing during the current COVID-19 crisis.
20th of March.
Yeah.
Well, it's very early.
Very
early. We did a wrestling show 2 days before that.
Yeah.
Not with fans in attendance, but
with wrestling.
Yeah. It's very early on in the thing. Yeah.
She replied to someone asking her to stay at home, quote, "I bet we would completely agree on what we want and what we're trying to avoid, but then would challenge each other thoughtfully about how to achieve that. I'm having those conversations daily with people in my inner circle, and I'm always considering and reconsidering my position. Where we are right now feels a lot close to martial law for my comfort already, all in the name of respiratory flu. It's unnerving." Elsewhere, Lily stated that, as well as being immunocompromised, she is living with her father, who is currently battling stage 4 leukemia.
Oh, wow.
Despite this, the actress said she wasn't willing to put her family through, quote, "corona house arrest," end quote, believing that, quote, "we all need to slow down, take a breath, and look at the facts we're being presented with," end quote, when it comes to the best course of action. The Avengers Endgame star even suggested she thinks the whole thing might be a hoax, as there's always, quote, "something," end quote, that occurs every election year.
Oh, I forgot about the election year part of the conspiracy.
So 3 days later, on March 23rd, we've got this covered, has heard from sources, the same ones who told us that She-Hulk was coming to Disney Plus and that Ahsoka Tano would cameo in The Mandalorian Season 2, both of which we now know to be true, that the studio is seriously upset with Lily's attitude and probably more importantly, the social media storm that she's whipped up. Many are calling for her to be removed from the MCU, in fact, particularly given her worrying comments that suggest she might believe COVID-19 is a hoax. From what we understand, Marvel is now considering doing as these people are asking for and let Lily go from her current contract. For the immediate future, however, it seems her role in Ant-Man 3 will be reduced, which would be a big come down for the actress following Ant-Man and the Wasp, making her the first leading superheroine for the franchise. Still, we know that Marvel pays close attention to Twitter outrage, see James Gunn's temporary removal from Guardians 3, so this would make sense for them to do. On March 26th, Yahoo News reports, hours after the former Lost co-host Maggie Grace implored her to, quote, reconsider her stance, particularly in light of her fellow ex-castmate Daniel Day Kim's own positive diagnosis for COVID-19, Lily has posted an apology for her previous, quote, dismissive, arrogant, and cryptic message, end quote. The Ant-Man and the Wasp actress told fans she is now, quote, doing my part to flatten the curve, practice social distancing, and staying home with my family.
Okay, so it's sort of, that was all within a week, right?
All within a week. And Peyton Reed then did an interview. Everyone was like, it's weird that Peyton Reed is doing this interview where he's like, her role is not, if anything, her role is going to be increased in Ant-Man and the Wasp in the next Ant-Man movie. So it was just this very weird week where I think there was just, social media was this weird place. I think, I think people were scared, people didn't know what to do, and people just reacted in both the hugely this way and hugely that way regard. It's a hoax. You should do this. Don't tell me what to do. You should practice this. And because of that, people just combat it and people just reacted in a very weird way. And a lot of companies in that, Disney as a company, didn't really know how to handle this sort of thing and were just like, I don't know what to do here.
Yeah. We're also scared.
Yeah, exactly.
Because our major business income comes from parks, where people need to be there physically.
In April 2020, Jev Loveness is hired to write the script. His background is, that you might know this, he wrote the episode The Christening of The Office. Series 7, Episode 7.
Oh, so that's the one he's famous for.
He's the only episode he wrote of.
The Christening. I mean, season 7 is post Michael Scott, isn't it? So that's not great.
He also wrote 238 episodes of Jimmy Kimmel and 6 episodes of Rick and Morty. So that's kind of his background leading into this.
I just clicked on his thing. It doesn't say he wrote that episode. He was an actor in it.
Oh, was it? Oh, I do apologize. The Hollywood Reporter writes, the deal was wrapped up in the early days of Hollywood's shutdown, according to sources, and Loveness has already commenced writing.
Also, sorry, did you say he was a Rick and Morty writer? Well, yeah, that isn't that one of Kevin Feige's favourite places to raid talent from? It's either Rick and Morty or former Community.
Yeah.
So anything that Dan Harmon has done.
Yeah.
But, if you're looking for a multiverse writer, that's all Rick and Morty. You spoke about how the stakes are removed when you go multiversal. Rick and Morty is a great example of almost embracing that lack of stakes and the existentialism of it all. Because Rick is just this, if his family die, he just moves over to the next family in another multiverse, and it's all weirdly depressing, and that's why he drinks so much. And that's sort of what you see that in the sadness of Kang.
Yes. Yeah, it's true. So there are some uncredited rights on the movie. If you go to the WGA website, Chris McKenna and Eric Summers, who wrote the Spider-Man movies, are uncredited writers, as is Eric Pearson, who wrote Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four First Steps, and Paul Rudd, all uncredited writers on the movie.
Paul Rudd was a credited writer on Ant-Man and the Wasp, I believe.
Yes.
So he's probably ad-libbing enough to put things in.
So it's time to talk about the controversy, but not the one you're thinking of. Variety reports that rapper T.I. will not be returning for the third installment of Marvel's Ant-Man franchise, Variety has confirmed. The performer, whose offstage name is Clifford Joseph Harris Jr., previously played a supporting role in the comedic crew of men assisting Paul Rudd's Scott Lang, the titular hero of the past two films.
He was like the getaway driver.
Dave, I think his name was. Insiders close to the Disney project say that T.I. was never slated to return, despite the implication that recent and grave allegations against him had to do with the decision. T.I. and his wife, Tiny Harris, are currently facing allegations of sexual abuse and drugging by multiple women. Representative of T.I. did not respond to Variety's request for comment. In a press conference on Monday, attorney... let's not get into the guy. The suit was dropped into 2024 as the statute of limitations passed.
Good old statute of limitations passing.
In September 2020, now it's time to talk about the controversy. And it is the one you're thinking of.
In September 2020.
Well, we're just going to talk about how Jonathan Majors came onto the project. He would and the controversy would then follow him. But Jonathan Majors is cast in the movie as a quote-unquote lead role. This is from The Hollywood Reporter. When Kate Herron joined Loki as director, she knew she had an ace or two up her sleeve that would forever alter the Marvel Cinematic Universe as we know it. This is from an article in July 2021. And in For Time Always, the season finale, Loki showed all its cards by revealing Jonathan Majors' He Who Remained, a variant of Marvel supervillain Kang the Conqueror, who set the events in motion that would end up becoming the multiverse. Since the character of Kang is a key player throughout Phase 4 for the MCU, Marvel studio boss Kevin Feige and his team, along with Herron, knew exactly what was at stake with this particular casting. The Quantumania casting happened at the same time, Herron shares. So basically, Ant-Man director Peyton Reed and I were in that discussion with Kevin Feige and the team at Marvel. We knew he was going to be in Quantumania, and we knew that version of him was going to be in Loki. Majors would tell Collider in September 2021, the Marvel team has their ways. It's much like getting a role in a drama school. They're just watching. You don't audition for roles. You get into drama school, then the dean will watch what you're doing. If they wanted you, you get tapped. That's kind of what happens. Feige would later say that he wanted to work with Majors after seeing him in The Last Black Man in San Francisco. Like, he saw that movie and was like, him.
Yeah.
I want him in a movie. And I was asked, because San Diego Comic-Con, as we were recording this, has just happened, and one of our editors said, like, oh, what do you think about Ryan Gosling being cast as Ghost Rider? And I said, that is a business decision. That is not a creative decision that Marvel wants to do a Ghost Rider movie. Who's going to play that role? That is I want Ryan Gosling in a movie. Let's go to Ryan Gosling and see what character he wants to play. Oh, and I don't really care what character he wants. I just want Harry Styles in a movie. I don't really care what character.
Well, you think Harry Styles wanted to play?
I don't think he wanted to play. I was like, oh, that's a role. I want to have Harry Styles in a movie. I don't care what character plays. I just want to have Kit Harington in a movie. I don't care what role that she plays. I just want to have Charlize Theron in a movie.
Bit like Tony Khan with AEW's roster at one point.
Yeah. I don't care what role.
Collecting toys.
I just want to have Jonathan Majors in a movie. Like that is the mode that Marvel we're in post Endgame is we need big actors. And these are the actors I want to have as big actors. I don't care what role I just want Pedro Pascal. Hey, that kid from Stranger Things is hot right now. I want him in a movie. Oh, that guy that everyone loves who plays Cousin in The Bear. I don't care what role. I just want him in a movie.
Yeah, that's definitely the Fantastic Four bit, isn't it? At this point, like, Jonathan Majors was a hot up-and-coming actor, but he wasn't a big name, I would say.
Yeah, this was supposed to be. It's actually, terrible timing for him. I know, like, there's big and great. I'm talking about just him and his career. This comes out, I think, the same weekend as Creed 3.
Wow.
So it's like there were just both of those movies. These are the breakout. This is the breakout year for him as an actor. Michelle Pfeiffer was confirmed to return, and at Disney Investor Day in December 2020, the film was made official when Catherine Newton joined the cast as Cassie Lang, who I believe is now the 4th actor to play the role of Cassie Lang. Newton had previously auditioned to play the role of Kate Bishop in Hawkeye.
Yeah, she gives off the sort of energy where she could play any daughter.
Have you seen Ready or Not 2, Here I Come?
No.
Because she's in that movie. And I said to my wife when we finished it, I was like, look, I'm glad that we finally got to the movie that plays off the joke that those two characters keep getting confused with one another. I can't remember the actor's name now, unfortunately, who plays the lead in Ready or Not. Bear with me 1 second.
What is Ready or Not?
Ready or Not. Her name is Samara Weaving. So Samara Weaving and Catherine Newton keep getting like confused. So people think one, and so it's about time we put them in a movie where they play sisters. Right? That's the whole reason why Ready or Not 2 is the way that it is. Mm-hmm. So Ready or Not is a film about Samara Weaving gets married to a guy who comes from like a board game dynasty, like a board game company dynasty. And on their wedding night, they play a game. And she has to select which game they play. And the game she selects is hide and seek. And it turns out the reason why this board game dynasty is so big is because the lead, the patriarch, years down the line, like generations ago, sold their soul to the devil to have a successful company. But in order to keep that success going, they have to make sacrifices. And they have to sacrifice her as part of this ritual.
Nice.
And so it's a game, and there's like, you just got to survive until dawn.
Mm-hmm.
And if you survive until dawn, like, what we don't know what will happen, but we have to kill you before dawn. So it's a story about her now in this house trying to survive her new family, trying to hunt her down. Mm-hmm. It's really fun. It's a really fun movie. Ready or Not 2 is equally as fun. I did quite enjoy it. My only issue is, and I said this to my wife, Samara Weaving's acting of pain is too realistic. And it makes me genuinely uncomfortable at times.
Like Michael Oku selling.
Yeah,
oh, no.
Anyway, off topic. Unfortunately, that meant that Emma Thurman, who played Cassie in Endgame, was not going to be in this movie, and I think she thought she was going to be. She tweeted out, just wanted to come on here and say thank you for all your kind messages. Thank you for your support. It's meant the world to me. I'm as sad as you all were to hear the news on Thursday. I can only hope that means there's something else for me in the future of the MCU.
Do you think there's a WhatsApp group of all the people who have been recast, like a support thing? Cuba Gooding Jr. is there.
Is it Cuba Gooding? Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard, sorry. He's like, hey, 2 + 2. Does it equal 5?
It was also confirmed that Corey Stoll would be returning as Darren Cross. And this is from Wikipedia. Reed plans to feature comedian Tom Sharpling again in this film after his cameos in the previous 2 films were ultimately cut from their theatrical releases. Oh. However, the scene in which he would have been featured was cut before it was filmed.
No, who's Tom Sharpling?
I don't know, but clearly it's someone that Peyton Reed likes.
Look,
Royce, then.
There are, because you've got Greg Turkington, who is in this film again.
Yeah.
Very briefly as a cameo. He's the manager of the Baskin Robbins in the first movie. But he is, he's a cult comedian.
Yeah.
So Peyton Reed definitely has what's the guy's name?
Tom Sharpling.
Tom Sharpling.
SCHRPLING. SCHARP.
Tom Sharpling. Don't really recognize him. Okay.
Yeah. Bill Murray confirmed that he would star in the movie. This is the most Bill Murray thing possible because he's a big fan of Peyton Reed's previous movie, Bring It On.
Yes.
I just love Bring It On. I want to work with that guy.
Oh, the Bring It On guy?
I haven't seen any of the other films that he's done, but I really like Bring It On.
What's the MCU?
I wanted to work with that guy since I saw Bring It On in 2000.
Do you think he turned up and he's like, well, great, so I'm going to be coaching a young cheerleading group?
Katie O'Brien was cast into the movie. She plays Gentora, I think her name is.
Oh, I never learnt her name. She is Warrior Lady.
Inverse did an interview with her in April 2023, which reads, Katie O'Brien is one of the rare group of actors who have starred in both Star Wars and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with her appearances as a freedom fighter leader Gentora in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania coming mere weeks before her small role as comms officer in The Mandalorian. But O'Brien thought her MCU debut would come much later. Due to the secretive audition process Marvel Studio follows, she wasn't even aware what role or even what project she was going for. Even her audition side had her identifying details changed. Quote, "It was me around a campfire talking to several different women. In my head, I'm like, okay, this is the Marvels for sure." O'Brien tells Inverse, quote, "I was just talking about why our people were displaced in this guerrilla village, but all the details were changed. Even after auditioning, O'Brien was convinced the upcoming Captain Marvel sequel crossover movie was going to be her next project. Quote, I'm talking to all these women. What Marvel movie has a bunch of women? The Marvels," she said. "I was surprised to find out it was Ant-Man. It was so random. And the character just doesn't fit in the Ant-Man universe until you realise they're going into the quantum world."
I love at that point, you're like, well, there's only one women movie. Surely no single other MCU movie, which is true, would have a bunch of women sitting around talking to each other, passing the Bechdel test.
When asked about the difference between shooting Marvel and Star Wars, quote, "They're both very secretive. I would say Star Wars is on the slightly more secretive side. The scenes that I've done in Star Wars have been more contained. We either have the volume, which is a very small semicircular area, or we have practical sets, but again, they're very small. Ant-Man was just very vast. Really, really large practical set, and then a blue screen surrounding you. I think the other side of things, like where Michelle Pfeiffer and Michael Douglas and Evangeline Lilly were, I think that was mostly volume. But where I was, it was mostly blue screen. Part of the reason that I think is we had all these huge battle scenes and so much action, so we needed a lot of space to move around." And then she does say, "I had a couple of fight scenes that got cut, and there were a couple of moments with Bill Murray. Instead of just getting killed, he had this whole space pursuit with them, then wound up with Kang, and he got arrested or something. It was a lot. It would have been like a 3-hour movie. They took him to jail, and he had some really cute little jail clips, and then I helped bust him out, and he pretends that he's with me the whole time and ready to fight, and I'm like, bro, come on. That's mostly what I remember, and they were adding stuff to the script until the last day of shooting. There's so much stuff that I think got cut in the end."
Well, I said right at the start of all of this, I feel like there's two movies in this film. There's the really good Kang space opera origin story, and then there's Ant-Man 3, which has a really goofy sensibility with the ooze guy with the holes and the houses that are alive. And
Your houses aren't alive?
yeah, it's really funny, those bits. And the sort of multiple Paul Rudds in the quantum realm.
Yeah.
The probability thing.
The probability sphere.
And yeah, Bill Murray. Like, why isn't Bill Murray? Because that whole bit feels really chopped up when they're intercutting between.
His death is so like. And it's just in the background. It's like that's just a CGI model being picked up.
But he just has a dinner scene, and that dinner scene is 3 different scenes. But it's not. I felt like it was one scene that was cut up into 3.
Yeah.
To make him more of a presence. But if he had a pursuit, which totally like that would actually make this never-ending exposition journey in the plane with Janet, Hope, and Hank way more exciting.
Yeah.
Because all that bit is Janet going, "No, I can't tell you. No, we have to escape first." I'm like, you're in a plane for like 3 hours.
There are 12 scenes in a row that end with he.
Yeah.
Him. The Conqueror.
We need to focus on getting out of here. Yes, yeah, but what about the seeming hour of time you've had to walk around?
Yeah.
Could you not tell us what's going on?
So I think you're right, because I think there was the Ant-Man movie they were making, and then the Ant-Man movie they made when the dailies came back and Jonathan Majors was so good, and now we're going to do Kang. Make a lot like Thor: The Dark World, again, as you mentioned earlier, which was, we're making this Thor movie, then the dailies came back and it was like, we need more Loki.
Yeah.
We need to have much more Loki in this movie. Let's do a load more reshoots with Loki.
And it's crazy because the Loki stuff, the Kang stuff, it's the best stuff.
It's the best stuff.
But it's not the stuff that we planned.
Do you know what's so funny as well? Earlier when you said the Convergence, I was like, the Eternals, yeah. What was that one? What was it called in the Eternals?
Oh, yeah, it was, I don't know.
Kingo.
Yeah. No, it was whatever it is when the harvesting or something like that. It's when the whole earth gets fed to an eternal, an emerging celestial. Sorry.
Yes. At San Diego Comic-Con 2022, Marvel announced Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, set for release on May 2nd, 2025.
Wait a second. May 2nd, 2025.
That was when the Kang Dynasty was supposed to come out, yeah.
I should have had an Avengers movie by now.
Feige said that this is at D23 in September 2022. Feige said that Quantumania would be a direct line to the Kang Dynasty kicking off Phase 5. Peyton Reed told Entertainment Weekly, people felt like, oh, these are fun little palate cleansers after gigantic Avengers movie. But this third one, I said, I don't want to be the palate cleanser anymore. I want to be the big Avengers movie. He told Empire in November 2022, I think it has a profound impact on the MCU. Jeff Loveness, who wrote this movie, is writing the Kang Dynasty as well. There's been a lot of discussion about the impact of this appearance of Kang the Conqueror. There are big plans in store.
Well, I really like it as a creative direction. Oh, the smallest guy, the guy who's almost a joke throughout the whole MCU and definitely within the Avengers, he actually turns out to be the most significant player, or like creates the next big cataclysmic event.
Daniel Day Creston was in talks to be the director of the Kang Dynasty because he directed Shang-Chi. And one of the reasons for that is because we'll get onto it when we get to Kang. Shang-Chi's a focal point of the Kang Dynasty. He's one of the most important characters in the movie.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, we'll come on to it in a little bit. Joanna Robinson, who was one of the writers of the MCU book, told The Ringer's Big Picture podcast in May 2023, I was told by someone who works for Marvel, it was not the plan to make Kang the center of everything until they saw the dailies from Quantumania and after his performance in Loki, which was so strong they were like, this is it. This is our way forward. We've lost our varsity hero team. Let's set up around this guy Kang and this performer, and so many people are reacting to it.
I mean, it's a bold decision, and they have made similarly bold decisions in the past, which played off for them.
There's a line in a Variety article, which I think we'll get to later, where they write, and I agree with this, not since Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man has it felt like Marvel put all of their chips onto one actor. And you look at that Kang of Councils, it's like it's all of him. He's playing 3 different variations of Kang. He's got Ramatut and Immortus and the I can't remember what the other one's called now, the Centurion. And he's got the Beyonder Kang, which will become all the other Kang. We're putting all of our chips on this
Chris
guy.
Eubank Kang. Well, what do you say? That you're just annoyed that you weren't the one to beat him. Doing Chris Eubank.
March 2023. Disney's Marvel is trying to track down the identity of the person or people who allegedly released a 63-page transcript of the dialogue from Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania online 1 month before the film's theatrical premiere. A request filed on Friday, March 10th, on behalf of Marvel in Federal District Court in California asked the court to issue a subpoena to compel Reddit to identify the person or group responsible for sharing the dialogue from Quantumania to r/Marvel Studios spoilers. Asked for comment, a Reddit spokesperson declined to say if the company intended to comply with the information request by Marvel. Quote, Reddit is committed to protecting our users' privacy. We have rigorous processes in place to assess legal requests and object when appropriate. The Reddit was set to private for a period of time. It's now back live again. But a post was made on another subreddit which explained the subreddit was created by someone because they hated going to the Marvel Studios subreddit. They wanted to know about the stuff that was coming up, leaks, spoilers, etc. But they had such a strong policy that you couldn't talk about anything without it being removed, banned, or messaged. We'd grown so large that people from MCU knew about it. Sadly, that means that Disney also knew of it. The mouse always wins, a lesson I learned from South Park. Ant-Man and the Wasp opens on February 15th, 2023, which was originally set for the Marvels, but this was further along in the process, so they switched them round. More on that next month.
Valentine's Day, really, yes. The release?
Yeah, well, it's all the success of Madam Web.
Yes. Well, Paul Rudd, many ladies, many geeky ladies love Paul Rudd.
So, to go through the history of opening weekends, Ant-Man, 57 million, which actually was seen as quite a disappointing opening because of what Phase 2 had done. Ant-Man 2, $75 million opening weekend. Ant-Man 3, 106 million opening weekend.
What? Quantumania did 106 million.
Huge. Nearly basically double what the first movie did as its opening weekend. Massive.
So
we are off to the races.
And Black Panther did really well. Thor: Love and Thunder did really well.
Yep.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's like and you see it in WWE, even though the engine has sort of fallen out of WWE creative, the goodwill they built up over a couple of year period meant people were still buying really expensive tickets, doing sellouts. Mm-hmm. So yeah, still Quantumania, but then maybe this is the one that died.
Oh no, sorry, who's that on the phone? Oh, it's the second week drop off. 69% it dropped off for week 2.
Nice.
Which I believe, going by my recollections, and I might be wrong on this one, if it's not, it's certainly down there. That's the biggest drop off at this point in time.
Yeah, Supergirl's got one eye on that record.
Of the MCU.
Yeah.
So Supergirl's not going to get that.
Oh, but okay. So there have been did Batman v Superman have a bigger drop?
I'm not talking about no, you're talking about worst movie ever. I'm talking about just the MCU specifically. This is the biggest second week drop off of the MCU. It won't be the biggest though. More on that next month. But yes, it's a 69% drop off, which is pretty disastrous the way that people look at it, because Spider-Man No Way Home had a 67.5%, Black Widow had 67.8%, Thor: Love and Thunder is 67%, Multiverse of Madness is 67%, but they also had bigger opening weekends, so their drop off, you still made a lot more money in that second week. But unfortunately, it just meant that in totals, Ant-Man made 519 million worldwide, Ant-Man 2 622 million worldwide, Ant-Man 3 476 million worldwide. Did not make as much worldwide as the first Ant-Man.
Yeah. That's mad.
So what this tells me, and when I was going through sort of Variety's write-up of it and Deadline's write-up of it is, and I completely agree with this, that first weekend is your hardcores.
Mm-hmm.
But what Marvel aren't getting now are the repeats. Or getting out to the casuals.
Yeah, because the hardcores aren't going, you've got to see this movie.
Got to go see this movie. The hardcores are always going to go and see it. So you're always guaranteed to have a good opening weekend. I mean, not Supergirl, but you're pretty much guaranteed to have the best opening weekend you can do, because you'll always get the hardcores in. But at this point in time, I think what Marvel were learning at this point, this is my read on it personally, I think what Marvel are realizing is that comic book audiences and movie audiences are different. The movie audiences went to go see a franchise, and that franchise ended in 2019. A comic book audience they'll buy comic books every week. They'll buy their comic books every month, and they'll just keep on buying them forever. Movie audiences stop getting on with things. Franchises don't last forever.
But then you got, I guess, James Bond.
But there's huge gaps between those.
There's big gaps.
Yeah.
It's not 3-4 movies a year.
No, exactly.
And they have different jumping on points, because with every new actor kind of revamps acts as a new issue 1.
And there'll be, there are anomalies within this. The Fast and Furious franchise is just you could probably make 20 of those movies and each one of them will do $1 billion for some reason.
But even that, they had a peak off of Fast 5 through to about Fast 9, but Fast 10 came right down.
So the reviews were not good. Most of them were criticizing the same things, which is the plot, the story, the characters, the action,
everything,
and the effects. But the one thing everyone was universally agreed upon, Jonathan Majors is fantastic. He is incredible in this movie, and his performance is outstanding. So it's time to talk about Jonathan Majors.
The one good thing they had. Everything in this film sucks, apart from MODOK.
Yeah. On March 25th, 2023, Majors placed a 911 emergency call requesting medical assistance to his New York residence after he claimed he'd arrived home and had found his former girlfriend, Grace Jabari, unresponsive. Majors also claimed he had spent the night at a hotel. Majors was later arrested on assault, strangulation, and harassment charges, stemming from a domestic dispute the prior evening with Jabrani, who, quote, sustained minor injuries to her head and neck and was removed to an area hospital in stable condition, end quote, according to the NYPD. He was released from custody that day, and his spokesperson denied the allegations, saying that Majors, quote, has done nothing wrong. We look forward to clearing his name and clearing things up, end quote. On March 26th, Majors was arraigned in New York City criminal court on charges. The Army, the American Army, had adverts with Majors in it, pulled all their adverts. and were like, look, we're all about, innocent until proven guilty. This is an ongoing investigation. And until that investigation is cleared up, we're going to pull all of those. He was also dropped as a client by both the management company Entertainment 360 and public relations company The Leedy Company. He was meant to star in a movie called The Man in My Basement, and he was recast in that movie. And Disney pulled a movie called Magazine Dreams, which was scheduled for release later that year. And eventually the film went back to the filmmakers in January 2024, who released it with someone else in March 2025.
Kind of implies that, while things being said publicly, we're going to clear the name and stuff, rumors do travel quite fast, and maybe it wasn't, they weren't good rumors, like, there's a lot more to this, which is why the companies
I think it's
all unanimously seem to have backed off there.
Yeah, I think with Marvel, there's a point, maybe I think it's covered in a later article, where because he was being dropped by so many people, Disney were like, well, I think we need to act as well. We can't be the only one who don't act. Majors pleaded not guilty when the trial began in November 2023. On December 18th, 2023, Majors was found guilty on one count of reckless assault in the third degree. He was acquitted of one other charge of assault and one of aggravated harassment. In April 2024, he was sentenced to 52 weeks of a domestic violence intervention program and probation. Variety and Rolling Stones reported more cases and accusations against Majors, noting a pattern of behavior that goes back to when he was studying at Yale School of Drama. In March 2024, Jabari sued Majors for defamation, assault and battery, which reportedly was settled out of court in November 2024. So what about Kang? Joanna Robinson, who wrote the MCU book I mentioned earlier, said on that Ringer's Big Picture podcast in May 2023, this is before the trial has happened. Double checking my time there. Yeah, before the trial started. We know this is a huge problem for them, and they're facing and grappling with right now. And what's unprecedented in this for Marvel is, I would argue, they have never hung so much of a franchise on one actor as they tried to hang it on Jonathan Majors after his Loki performance and his Ant-Man Quantumania performance. I would argue more than Downey as Iron Man, more than Brolin as Thanos. That hanging everything on this guy is then going to prop up the rest of their properties leading up to the Kang Dynasty, has put them in a very unusual position. They don't usually hang this much on one person in the way they did here, and that has put them in a bind. We do not know what they're going to do. I hear conflicting stories about what they're going to replace him, or they're even considering replacing him, etc., but it's just one more thing. So this was then posted in November 1st, 2023 by Variety. This is a huge article, so I'm going to apologize if I stumble over words. I probably shouldn't drink coffee before we start doing these things. I feel like that's why when I'm reading big passages
you get
of text,
excited.
I do get excited. This is a huge article at the time. I also think it's a forgotten article when people talk about Doomsday and people talk about the build for Doomsday and the reaction to that first Doomsday trailer. It's sort of like our reaction, and people are like, why do you hate upon this movie? This was all set in stone years ago. This past September, a group of Marvel creatives, including studio chief Kevin Feige, assembled in Palm Springs for the studio's annual retreat. Most years, the vibe would have been confident, even cocky, bless you, given how the premier superhero brand owned by Disney since 2009 has remade the entertainment business in its image. But this occasion was angst-ridden. Everyone at Marvel was reeling from a series of disappointments on screen, a legal scandal involving one of its biggest stars, and questions about the viability of the studio's ambitious strategy to expand the brand beyond movies into streaming. The most pressing issue to be discussed at the retreat was what to do about Jonathan Majors, the actor who had been poised to carry the next phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but instead is headed to a high-profile trial in New York later this month on domestic violence charges. The actor insists he is the victim, but the damage to his reputation and the chance he could lose the case has forced Marvel to reconsider its plans to center the next phase of its interlocking slate of sequels, spin-offs, and series around Major's villainous character Kang the Conqueror. At the gathering in Palm Springs, executives discussed backup plans, including pivoting to another comic book adversary, like Doctor Doom. But making any shift would carry its own headaches. Marvel was already a big presence in the MCU, including as the scene-stealing antagonist in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, and he's been positioned as the franchise's next big thing in this series of Loki, particularly in the finale, which ends on November 9th as Kang, the titular star of the 5th Avengers movie in 2026. Quote, Marvel is truly fucked with the whole Kang angle, end quote, says one top deal maker who has seen the final Loki episode. Quote, and they haven't had an opportunity to rewrite until very recently because of the WGA strike, but I do not see a path to how they move forward with him. So that's the WGA strike is another sort of issue within this, and we'll get onto that with the Kang Dynasty. there was an option to maybe write him out of Loki. They couldn't because of the strike.
This is season 1.
We've just got to stick with what we've got. Actually, I think it's season 2 because he's the end of season 2 as well.
Is he? I've not seen season 2. What's he do at the end of season 2?
So season 2, I don't think I've seen all of season 2, but I think he ends with like Ravara, I think is her name. Like it's revealed that he's like in love with her, like that's a love interest for him, and he's trying to get back with her. We'll cover that when we get to the Kang Dynasty.
Okay, yeah, because Loki and Owen Wilson tracking him is the post-credits scene of Quantumania.
Yeah, for Victor Timely.
Yeah,
who I think might be like the first of the Kangs. Beyond the bad press for Majors, the brain trust of Marvel is also grappling with the November release, The Marvels, a sequel to 2019's blockbuster Captain Marvel that has been plagued with lengthy reshoots and now likely appears to be underwhelming at the box office. Marvel has never been in the business of average. Quote, Kevin's real superpower, his genius, has always been in post-production and getting his hands on movies and making sure that they are finished strongly, the source adds. These days, he is spread thin. Feige isn't the only person showing signs of strain. Marvel's entire VFX battalion, including staffers and vendors, is struggling to keep pace with a never-ending stream of productions. This past February, when the credits rolled at the world premiere of Quantumania, shock rippled through the Regency Theatre in Westwood over some shoddy CGI. Quote, there were at least 10 scenes where the visual effects had been added at the last minute and were out of focus, says one veteran power broker who was there. Quote, it was insane. I've never seen something like that in my entire career. Everyone was talking about it. Even the kids of executives were talking about it. The schedule swap with Marvel's had left Ant-Man's sequel in a sneeze, pushing up its post-production process by 4.5 months. Marvel's films are known for coming down to the wire, given Feige's ability to foam the runway and land the plane, says one executive familiar with how the company operates. But this level of unfinished was unprecedented and would be noted in scathing reviews when the tentpole movie with a $200 million budget opened 11 days later after its premiere. Critics weren't the only ones dismayed. Fed up with 14-hour days with no overtime, Marvel VFX workers voted unanimously to unionize in September, sparking an industry-wide trend.
Oh, well, some good came of it then.
The year 2023 was the straw that broke the camel's back, says former Marvel Studios VFX assistant coordinator Anna George, who appeared before the Congressional Labor Caucus in October 19th to testify about the studio's untenable deadlines and working conditions. Quote, the pay and long hours at Marvel were the reason we had to start our unionization process there. The conditions were completely unsustainable. Disney's top brass, including newly returning Bob Iger, has said to be apoplectic about Marvel's VFX troubles. 1 month after the Quantumania premiere debacle, the guillotine fell on Victoria Alonso, who oversaw the studio's physical production, post-production, VFX, and animation. While there's reason cited for her abrupt firing was her unauthorized role as an executive producer on the Oscar-nominated film Argentina 1985, insiders say Disney was incensed that the quality control and its Marvel productions was plummeting, particularly on the ever-expanding TV front. The VFX logjam has been evident for some time, with some effects in the Disney Plus series such as WandaVision and She-Hulk inserted after the streaming debut.
What?
Put up, unfinished, fixed after it's gone.
It's like a video game, isn't it? Where you release an unfinished game and then you do the patches.
That's what they did with Cats. Do you remember Cats? They didn't finish some of the VFX and some of them still had hands. So
no?
Did you not know about this?
How can they have hands but not buttholes?
There's a bit at the end of the movie where Jane Judi Dench has just hands. And she's talking with her hands and her hands are just on screen. Oh. So they had to send a patched version of Cats to show in cinema where they put paws on her.
We've got to add Cats to the worst movie ever list.
I do not want to watch it.
I've never seen it.
Never seen it, and I do not want to watch it.
But you would the butthole cut.
Hal.
If someone sent us the butthole cut, which we know is out there.
Hal, it's about cats. It's the only quote I know about Cats, thanks to Lindsay Ellis, when people kept asking, what's the guy's name? Andrew Lloyd Webber. What is Cats about? Hal, it's about cats. Alonso was busy promoting her art house project while Rome Byrne certainly didn't sit well with Disney's leadership. But some internal sources suggest Alonso was a scapegoat and point to the She-Hulk VFX issues as a symptom of a deeper rot, namely a lack of oversight on script development. In the original arc of She-Hulk, a flashback to Tatiana Maslany's transformation into a Hulk character didn't take place until episode 8, the penultimate episode. But after Marvel's brain trust watched footage, it realized the scene needed to happen in the pilot episode so audiences could see more of her backstory early. That meant the VFX team were tasked with fixing the mess in post-production. Quote, "The so-called bad VFX we see was because of half-baked script," says one person involved with She-Hulk. "That is not Victoria. That is Kevin. And even above Kevin, those issues should have been addressed in pre-production. The timeline is not allowing Marvel executives to sit with the material." Same thing happened with Daredevil, Born Again. That series is supposed to be completely different. And the series we get is a chop and change. It is a cut-up of the original version of season 2 and the new director who came in to fix it. And that includes, like, I think in one of the things I read is that Daredevil doesn't get into the suit until like the penultimate episode. And Marvel were like, why the fuck are we putting out a Daredevil episode where Daredevil doesn't get into the Daredevil suit until like the penultimate episode? We need to fix this now. And the point I would make is, how did you get that far?
Yes.
How did you get to the point where you filmed everything and then you're like, whoa, sorry, you doesn't get into the... It's the same with She-Hulk. So what? You're not doing the origin story until episode 8?
Because they're stretched. They're second guessing themselves from a lack of confidence.
All the while, Marvel was bleeding money, with a single episode of She-Hulk costing some $25 million.
Good grief.
Dwarfing the budget of a final season episode of Game of Thrones, but without the similar zeitgeist bang. The August 2022 series premiere at the El Capitan Theatre foreshadowed what was to come 6 months later with Quantumania. The She-Hulk special effects were out of focus in multiple scenes. As public criticism mounts, Feige is pulling the plug on scripts and projects that aren't working. Case in point, the Blade reboot. With Maharaj, I can never say his name. Marsha Harley. Is it Marsha Harley? Marsha Ali?
Yeah.
Signed on for the eponymous role of a vampire. Things look promising for the 2023 release date, but the project has gone through at least 5 writers, 2 directors, 1 shutdown 6 weeks before production. I don't think we're ever getting that Blade movie. One person familiar with the script permutation said the story at one point morphed into a narrative led by women and filled with life lessons. Blade was relegated to the 4th lead, a bizarre idea that the studio had 2-time Oscar winner Ali on board. Amid reports that Ali was ready to exit over script issues, Feige went back to the drawing board and hired Michael Green, the Oscar-nominated writer of Logan, to start anew. Speculation around town is the studio is now looking to make the film, now slated for 2025, on a budget of less than $100 million, a deviation from Marvel's big spending strategy. With Miga publicly acknowledging the downside of the Marvel TV glut that, quote, diluted focus and attention, end quote, the keepers of the comic book empire are considering some dramatic moves. Sources say there have been talks to bring back the original gang for an Avengers movie. That would include reviving Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man and Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow, both of whom were killed off with Endgame. But the studio hasn't committed to the idea. If they were able to bring back those actors, it wouldn't come cheap. Sources say the Downey Jr. upfront salary for Iron Man 3 was around $25 million.
That's a She-Hulk episode these days.
This right here is, we need to bring back RDJ.
Yeah.
This is the business decision. This whole Kang thing isn't working. Everything that we have done for Phase 4 and now doing into Phase 5 is not working. We need to bring back Robert Downey Jr.
We need The Undertaker.
Yeah, that's exactly it. What you saw in that first Avengers Doomsday trailer is not creative choices, it's business choices. Will that solve Marvel's majors problem? When the Quantumania actor was arrested in March, Disney executives insisted that they could afford to play a wait-and-see game, given that Avengers: The Kang Dynasty wasn't expected to begin shooting until early 2024. But then Majors was dropped in quick succession by his publicist and managers. In April, other alleged domestic violence victims of Majors began cooperating with a Manhattan District Attorney's office. Then, ahead of a key airing in October, media outlets, including Variety, obtained a court filing that referenced a police incident in London involving Majors that led to his ex-girlfriend to seek medical attention. Making matters even stickier, the ex-girlfriend worked on Quantumania as a movement coach, and the London incident took place while Majors was shooting Season 2 of Loki. On October 25th, a New York judge denied Majors' motion to dismiss the case, which ensures the actors will stand trial in November. A studio source notes that regardless of the actor's legal issues, Marvel had already considered moving away from a Majors-led phase because of the box office performance of Quantumania, which will struggle to make profit. Quote, it gave people pause that Quantumania didn't exactly land, a source says.
Well, that makes sense why they didn't continue with Kang. Because one of the things I always thought was, well, you know, it's so weird to say it's a shame about Majors, isn't it?
Yes.
Because he's so good.
Which I have said in this episode.
Yeah, but we all know what we mean. It's inexcusable. He was found guilty in court. This is very black and white. That he should have nothing to do with the MCU.
They were right to move on from it.
Yeah, well done, Disney. You took a tough choice and it worked out eventually, hopefully. But I was just like, but Kang's this multi-dimensional being.
Yeah.
Surely you could just go, oh, you look different. Yeah, I'm this dimension version.
You don't even have to reference it.
Yeah.
They did it with War Machine.
Or Cassie. Cassie 4 here.
Yep.
But then it's like, if they thought it wasn't just Majors, it's also the character of Kang, the idea of this version of the multiverse. It sounds like it was both of those, which is why they didn't go with Kang.
And it's funny that they say, oh, Quantumania's at fault. It's not like people didn't go and see the movie because Kang was the villain.
Yeah.
It's all of the other problems that are around you.
You don't know it's Kang until an hour in.
Exactly. I think it is more. It's the stuff we talked about at the start of this episode. It is making 7 movies and 7 TV series, 14 projects in a 2-year period. That's fucking insanity.
To decreasing quality.
It has actually, as Bob Iger said, you've diluted the franchise. You have diluted this brand. And Joanna Robinson, who wrote the MCU book, she said, I haven't got the quote available, but she said, paraphrasing, if you did a podcast series in 2019, or if you had a YouTube series in 2019, a YouTube channel that was based around Marvel, your numbers were huge. They were skyrocketing. And obviously, that's Endgame and this and the other. If those same channels were not getting those same numbers a handful of years later, because the audience has dropped off.
Yeah.
Interest in it has dropped off. And call it comic book fatigue, call it whatever you want. The interest is not there anymore.
To circle back to Victoria Alonso, because she's sort of seen in the MCU book as the trio that made the MCU work. You've got Kevin Feige, someone else, and then you've got Alonso, who was the coordinator, essentially, this mastermind who made the visual effects, the sort of previs things, and the creative. She made it all work together in an amazing way. I feel like maybe she's one of the book's sources because she's not friendly with MCU at the point of its release. But wasn't there also a clash over the...
She did some LGBT comments as well, I think. If I remember correctly. I might have to go... Maybe I'll look at it because the book's upstairs. I'll do that when we do the play-by-play.
But the scapegoat thing, I think, is very...
Yeah.
I'm more inclined to say she was probably done a couple of years before with the amount of work and stress that was being put on her.
Yeah.
And, she seems like she's got a foot out the door already with, I'm just going to do what makes me happy.
Yeah.
This... What was it? Argentinian art house movie.
1985. So on December 18th, 2023, shortly after the conviction and the trial was concluded, Jonathan Majors is out at Marvel Studios in a stunning career blow for the once rising actor. Marvel has 2 courses it can take. It can recast the part, although it is not clear how many actors would be attracted to a role from which one actor was so publicly fired. The other course is to redevelop its plans and refocus on a brand new villain. While Marvel sources are mum, there is an indication that the studio has already started just doing that. In November, Marvel hired Loki creator Michael Waldron to work on a new draft of what was once called Kang Dynasty, but is now just being referred to as Avengers 5, according to the sources. The studio has 2 months to plan for such an eventuality, and it's possible that Waldron was part of that course correction. So would you like to know what the Kang Dynasty was going to be about?
Yes, but I feel like this is like Justice League. When you said, here's part 2 of Justice League.
Okay, I'm going to go through...
Riddler's in a cave. He's figured out the anti-life equation.
Honestly, so I'm on the fence of how legit of a script this is.
Okay.
we'll go through why I think, but I think the reasons why I might think this is just rumor and speculation will become apparent the further I get through this. As it currently stands, this is what is supposed to have been the Kang Dynasty. A script was leaked online by a Twitter user called Exiled Scooper, with a 3 in there. It's a deleted Twitter account. The posts are now deleted, but there are multiple YouTube videos that have been like, here's what was in it. There are some conflicting bits. I'll carry through them. So, like, one of them has said, like, oh, this is how it opened. Another one said, this is how it opened. But there are broad themes, but I'll go through some of the changes. It would open with the backstory of Kang that we saw in Quantumania. He Who Remains from Loki. This Kang is a variant, and Ravonna, who is from Loki, I think she works at the TVA, who didn't think so. The He Who Remains. It is the Kang that's in Quantumania. That's probably one of the reasons the problem with Kang.
So the exiled one.
The exiled one. His version of Ravonna really didn't want him to go to war with the Council of Kangs. Because he said, I need to go to war with them to save what they're doing to the multiverse. She didn't think it was a good idea. We see him going through a bunch of multiverses, killing loads of variant Avengers, because he felt it's the only way to save the multiverse. And then the Council of Kangs kill his family, including a pregnant Ravonna, and banish him to the quantum realm. So the start of Quantumania, when he goes through, that is him being banished. And that would be like we would see this with at the start of the Kang Dynasty. The idea, according to Exiled Scooper, is that the rest of Phase 5 was designed to build to Kang. So, Ant-Man and the Wasp would introduce Kang. Loki Season 1 and 2 would introduce He Who Remains and Victor Timely. Deadpool and Wolverine would set up the Council of Kangs as the overarching threat and the idea of anchor beings.
Because you do get TVA stuff in Deadpool.
Yeah. Agatha All Along would introduce Immortus, who is one of the Kangs.
Oh my god.
Moon Knight Season 2 would introduce Rama Tut, who is one of the Kangs.
That makes sense.
X-Men 97 Season 2 would introduce the Centurion and the formation of the Council, and Fantastic Four would introduce Kang Law and the first multiversal war.
Fantastic Forward.
Yeah. So, we talk about that first. So those are the movies that would then build towards the Kang Dynasty. So already on there, I've got a handful of question marks over things. One of those being Moon Knight Season 2. The other being, you're going to use the cartoon X-Men 97 to introduce one of the... I'm not so sure about that. But the idea is that the Council of Kangs, the head of that, is the 4 of them. It was Immortus, the Centurion, Ramatut, and... who'd become the exiled one. The Conqueror is what his name is.
The coolest one.
The coolest one.
That is a problem with the Kang Dynasty, by the way. They kill the coolest one in Quantumania, and when I see all the other Kangs, they've got funny voices. I'm the one who looks like a zombie from the Trade Federation.
More on that in a bit. Quantumania Kang, at the end of Quantumania, is sent to the Beyond Zone. That's when he gets sucked in. He falls into the Beyond Zone. There, he is stuck in a probability storm and is tortured by all of the choices that he has made and the mistakes and his failures. Much like, when Scott Lang is being split off, they are there to sort of torture him and warp his mind, and that it turns him into Beyonder Kang. Okay,
that's cool. I like that. Very high concept.
Yeah. The Kang Council defeat the Watchers.
The Watchers are actual...
Yeah, live-action Watchers would be in this movie.
Oh, that would look so dumb.
And kill all of the Watchers.
All these baby-looking mofos.
And U2 is banished.
U2 are in it?
Bono and The Edge. He is banished to the ends of time, likely to come back for Secret Wars. Because remember, this is the first step before you get to Secret Wars.
Who's banished to the end of time?
Is it Uatu, like the main Watcher? Who is the narrator voiced by...
cool voice.
Yeah, Commissioner Gordon in the Batman.
Yeah.
He's in What If, so he would be. It's a live-action version of him. He is banished to the end of time.
This is a lot of supplementary cartoon viewing.
Right.
It was already diluted, but I think when you add in cartoons...
Oh, don't worry, there's more. Loki, at the end of season 2, as far as I can gather, he is now basically in control of all the timelines. He's got his tree that's got all the timelines in. That is Loki's role now, is to watch over and make sure that all the timelines run smoothly. And he is observing the threat of the Kangs, and he ponders the fates of the anchor beings. More on them in a bit. The Fantastic Four arrive at the TVA. And they start making plans. Apparently, they know who the TVA are. So they travel to the TVA because they know about the Kangs. And they start to make their plans for the anchor beings. And they build something called... Mr. Fantastic's already got a plan.
Of course he has.
It's called the Life Raft. And we're going to use this Life Raft to go and pick up the anchor beings to use so we can defeat the Kangs. Scott is suffering from PTSD. From the end of Quantumania, he is suffering. He's broken up with Hope. He's like separating himself from the rest of his family because of the choice that he made. He knows that he is doomed to humanity, and he's dealing with it very badly.
But he does what? So but he doesn't know. At the end of Quantumania, he's like, "I'm sure it's fine."
Well, that's it. He's
cake.
convincing himself.
Yeah,
and he's maybe after a while that convincing isn't really working. Spider-Man is hanging out with Miles Morales.
Okay, some fan fiction has found its way in.
And according to like one of the YouTube videos I've watched, said the script never explains how Miles is there. So he was just like, so I guess he was going to be set up in some other movie. My reading of that was like, oh, maybe this is bullshit. Okay, the other argument I will put forward now, just when I'm talking about these things, this could just be first drafts. And this could just be Jeff Loveness throwing everything. Yeah. I'm just going to put everything up on the page and we will address it. And that's what you do in a first draft, is you just put everything on the page. Then draft 2 is when you address these sorts of things like, where did Miles Morales come from?
Or that was a bad idea. No, cut that. That makes no sense.
Let's not do Miles Morales, maybe.
A first draft is often called a vomit draft for that reason. But maybe if you're talking so much about cartoons and all these bits of the multiverse, Miles Morales exists in the animated Spider-Verse.
True, yeah.
We've had a live-action person with Donald Glover in Across the whatever the second one is.
Well, and Donald Glover's in Homecoming.
In Homecoming,
and he references Miles, I think, within that.
So it could be there could have been a sort of Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Tom Holland is Bob Hoskins.
Kamala Khan is having dreams and visions of Monica Rambeau trying to reach her. It's like distorted warnings. It's the only time that Monica is mentioned in the script, so likely she would have returned with Beast and all of that X-Men style of stuff for Secret Wars. Wong confirms with Shang-Chi that his 10 rings and Kamala's bangles that were set up throughout Miss Marvel are sending out some sort of beacon. They're not quite sure to who or what. Shang-Chi, Bruce, and She-Hulk are working on what the 10 rings are.
Because that's at the end of Shang-Chi. The post-credit scene is he goes to see Miss Marvel. Sorry, Captain Marvel, Wong, and Bruce.
But it turns out within this, it's not Captain Marvel, it's She-Hulk who's in that position instead. Cap is in Wakanda working on his new Avengers team, or at least his new group, which is made up of... Captain America, Falcon.
Oh, yes.
He's the new Captain America. Yeah. His new team in Wakanda, which is himself, Ironheart, Shuri, Falcon, and War Machine. So that's his new little group. Meanwhile, Doctor Strange and Clea return from the Dark Dimension, having learnt about the Kang and the Kang Dynasty.
Who's Clea?
That's Charlize Theron, who...
Oh, yes. So she's at the end of the Multiverse of Madness. Yeah. Come with me.
Yeah, the third eye thing that he then gets. Wonder Man is suffering from depression because he has lost his fiancée in a car crash. More on him in a bit. Hawkeye is at a farm in Iowa, and then all of a sudden he sees that the skies darken, and the Kang of Councils arrive, and they announce the Avengers must be punished, which is set up at the end of Quantumania, which is when they say that there's a group of Avengers here, or there's a group of people who are getting a bit too powerful. We need to put a stop to them now before they realize they can stop us.
We're already late.
Yeah, we're already late. So they say that the Avengers have stolen relics from the first multiversal war, which is the Miss Marvel's bangles, the Shang-Chi's 10 rings, and as it turns out, Doctor Strange's sling ring is the third relic of the multiversal war.
But all of the magicians, wizards have sling rings?
Maybe it's just one of these.
Just one.
Just one of them.
I like the idea of there are artifacts left over from a multi-dimensional war that happened, ages ago. That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool, although it's Infinity Stones by any other name.
It's different enough.
I need to collect all these things together to put together for something or other.
Whatever it is, it gets my sci-fi groin going.
During this Kang invasion, Cassie, Hope, Hank, and Janice are all killed.
What? Who? Cassie,
Hope.
Finally, Cassie, Hope. Teaches you for your week of social media posts. Get rid of Lily. Who? Hank as well.
Hank and Janet are all
Holy
killed,
crap.
Which again is all part of Scott's trying to deal with the choice that he has made.
I bet those deaths, if you saw them unfold, you go, oh my God. Oh, I guess they're coming back then somehow.
It's an assumption made that Moon Knight is also killed in this, but there's another video I've watched that says that Moon Knight is featured later on in the script, so I don't quite know. All of the heroes gather together in Wakanda. Notable by their absence within this script are the Thunderbolts, Namor, Vision, Nick Fury, and I'm sad to say, the Eternals. They decide to... The next basically big bit of this movie is we're going to split into 3 teams, with each one of our teams going after one of the Kangs to stop that Kang from getting one of our MacGuffins.
Seems good. That's a straightforward plot.
Team 1 to take on the Centurion is Doctor Strange, Clea Wong, America Chavez, Thor, Love, Shang-Chi, Adam Warlock, Phyla-Vell, and Cosmo.
Adam Warlock?
Yeah. Phyla-Vell and Cosmo.
So a bit of Guardians Volume 3 getting mished in with this.
Another video that I watched lists Valkyrie also within that team.
It's a lot of people in that team.
Team 2 taking on Immortus is Captain America, Captain Marvel, Hulk, Wonder Man, Shuri, Miss Marvel, Star-Lord, She-Hulk, Rocket, Groot, and Falcon. Another video I watched says that Scar, his son, Hulk's son, is also part of that group.
God, there are way too many characters.
Team 3 that's taking on Ramatut is Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Ant-Man, Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, Ironheart, War Machine, Daredevil, and the Punisher.
Oh man, Team 3 is going to get murdered. Everyone else feels really quite powerful. And then you've got the Bugs.
They're the street level team.
Yeah.
When I watched this video and it said Daredevil and the Punisher, I went, oh, fuck off. No, they're not.
Miles Morales as well.
Yeah, no, they're not in this film.
Well, Punisher is in Brand New Day, which, as of recording, we're literally watching it this evening.
Yeah, and another video I watched listed Moon Knight as part of that team. Meanwhile, Earth leaders are talking about finally releasing their Adamantium Sentinels to have them to ford off invading forces. So they have the battles with the Kangs and Love, Rocket, Warlock, Groot, Phyla-Vell, Cosmo, Wonder Man, Wong, America Chavez, Clea, Miles Morales, Daredevil, Punisher, Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, Star-Lord, Captain Marvel, She-Hulk, Captain America, Falcon, Shuri, Ironheart, and War Machine all die.
Okay, so there's your Infinity War blip ending.
But die throughout the movie because it splits between the 3 stories. It will start with this one story, then it will cut to this next one, cut to this next one.
Yeah, you're sort of intercutting between the action. Yeah,
and each one of them features a big emotional death for one of those characters.
Each one is going to be a big emotional death.
Not each of them, but some is just it's a big moment and then boom, they're dead. So Star-Lord has this moment where he takes a bullet for the Falcon or Captain America rather, and that's what kills him. They're ones in space. And then Rocket and Groot watch Star-Lord die, and then they have their moment, and Groot dies with one final "I am Groot" before he goes on.
Yeah, I mean it's very, very dusty, isn't it? Seems very. What does
sorry,
Spider-Man
dusty.
say?
I even wrote.
No, not son of a plumber. Dust, you turn it into dust in Infinity War.
But not all at once, which is what they are in. So I suppose you get them one by one.
The amount you just listed, unless this film is 8 hours long, it will feel like it's happening at once.
Well, we're about to get to the 3rd act.
Right.
So the only survivors are Thor, Shang-Chi, Strange, Spider-Man, Ant-Man, Miss Marvel, and the Hulk. Love is killed within all of this. Just introduced at the end of the last movie, boom, no, you're dead. I would imagine all going to come back at the end of Secret Wars. Then the Kang Council start to turn on each other. Immortus kills Centurion. Ramatut is also killed. So it's only now Immortus that is left. And that's when Beyonder Kang returns. He manages to get out of the Beyond Zone, returns to this world. Scott sees him and says, "That's Kang." So now it becomes a war between Beyonder Kang and Immortus. Immortus gets the bangles. Beyonder Kang gets the 10 rings. Thor, Shang-Chi, and Ant-Man Hulk are also then killed. It's just
Thor, Shang-Chi. So who have we got now?
So we're just left with... It's assumed that Doctor Strange is also dead, but
Yeah.
it turns out he's gone away. More on him in a second. It's the only people who are left, let me double check my notes here, are Miss Marvel and Spider-Man, I think, are the only surviving people at this point.
I quite like those as two final people.
So it's thought that everyone thinks that Doctor Strange is also dead. It's not. He was off finding the TVA and bringing them in with their life raft that has the anchor beings, who are Deadpool, Wolverine, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man,
Oh my god.
and Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider.
Are you serious? That it's just them.
Those are the anchor beings, and obviously the Fantastic Four are with them as well. Franklin Richards is considered to be an anchor being. One of the other videos I watched also said that Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is considered an anchor being. They also listed some other characters like Captain America, Daredevil, and Punisher don't die, or it's not like fully explained. So some conflicting ideas of who and what is in each one of these things. So those are your anchor beings.
It seems very derivative of the Infinity War Endgame structure.
Yeah, doesn't
and
it just?
stakes. Yeah.
Beyonder Kang and Immortus fight through and around Loki's tree of timelines. And while Loki is struggling to keep all of these timelines together. And this is actually kind of a badass line. If this is fan fiction, whatever, but I think it's kind of a badass moment. Beyonder Kang kills Immortus by strangling him with timelines.
That is cool.
Pretty badass, right? Kang absorbs Loki powers, and it's assumed that Loki then also dies. And with the power, and now with the bangles and the 10 rings, he creates Battleworld. And that's how the movie ends, because he's created his perfect timeline. He's brought back a pregnant Ravonna, and the ending of the film is with, she goes, "You did it." He says, "For all time, always, my love."
And what did it cost?
That's exactly it, right? I was like, oh, so it's Infinity War.
Oh yeah, it's Thanos. He's this is his little farm, but just with more battles.
And now that would lead into Secret Wars,
where loads of different variant they battle to be the supreme one.
So all the anchor beings that I just listed are like they escape with Spider-Man and Miss Marvel, and they escape into a safe space in time, between time and space.
Handy.
Which will then, they'll be your leading force and your main bulk of characters who will go on a time. Sorry, they'll go to
not a time heist.
They will go to battle planets.
Yeah,
there you go. That is apparently what the Kang Dynasty was going to be about.
I mean, if you asked me a couple of years ago, what do you think's going to happen? It wouldn't be dissimilar, the broad strokes of Kang defeats all the other Kangs and he creates the and that's not far away what I would have assumed would have been the plot for the Kang Dynasty.
If you're heading towards Secret Wars, the end of the first movie then. Oh, it's the creator of Battle Planet then.
Yeah, but I'm quite surprised hearing those beats, how similar it does seem to Infinity War Endgame.
Yeah.
And how I can see the reviews like in the following weeks after that version of the movie's released, and it's just the deaths meant nothing.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure they'll come back in the next one.
Yeah.
And they'll be at the end of the movie on your left.
Yeah.
So my two thoughts are, one, this is fan fiction and it's just being posed as this is what the Kang Dynasty is going to be about. Like a lot of that reads like nonsense. The list of names in particular. Yeah, sure, the Punisher is going to be part of this movie. Yeah, sure. All right, mate. As we used to say at school, all right, chin. Yeah, chinny, mate. The other part of it is, it's vomit. It's first draft vomit. Let's just get all of the ideas on paper and we'll refine as we get towards draft 12. Bear in mind, it's a Marvel movie. They'll refine it when they get to like the day before they put out in cinemas.
Didn't you say earlier this is a 62 page treatment rather than a script?
No, that was Quantumania.
Oh, okay, that was the
This
dialogue.
is a full script. This is Jeff Loveness's full script of the movie.
Wow.
The other side of it as well, as you point out, that's a lot to get done in, two and a half hours, even a 3-hour runtime.
Russos can do it. Honestly, I know they don't have much success outside the MCU.
It's Daniel Day Creston at this point. Like,
is it really doing the Kang Dynasty?
Well, because the Russos aren't going to come on board until after they decide. Well, actually, until RDJ comes in. He's like, I'm only going to do it if I can have the Russos. So that's everything for the Kang Dynasty. What's the future of Ant-Man? Well, they said that there's a potential to do a 4th movie. Michael Douglas said he will be in a 4th movie, quote, as long as I can die.
Yes.
He then clarified that at that quote with The View a few days later when he said, that was actually my request for the 3rd one. I said I'd like to have a serious death with all these great special effects. There's got to be some fantastic way where I can shrink down to ant size and explode whatever it is. I want to use all those effects. But that was on the last one. Now, I don't think I'm going to show up.
He feels quite done in the 2nd movie. And he's most alive when he's, my wife's coming back. I get Janet. That's really the Janet, Hank, and Hope. Yeah. Their story really wraps up when Janet comes back. They do feel completely unneeded or unnecessary in Quantumania.
Not enough. There's not enough of the dynamic that to kind of justify that. Again, really, Janet gets most of it, but it's not really anything between with her and Hank.
Hank and Hope really should be stuck up on the main world trying to get them back.
Yeah.
And you cross-cut between those two scenes.
I'd actually agree with that. Because even after, the big reveal is supposed to be, Janet hasn't told you everything. And their reaction to that is yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't.
You going to tell us? Not until 3 scenes time. Because we need to artificially stretch out tension.
And I'm sorry I didn't tell you. And they'll go, it's cool. I get why you didn't.
Yeah, it must have been a lot for you. Yeah, but it would have been helpful if you just told us.
Yeah.
You're always going to tell us.
Yeah, if you'd have told us that, we probably wouldn't have been fucking around with the quantum realm so much and sending beacons down there.
Yeah.
If you'd have told us there are whole civilizations down there that you don't want to talk to.
And you've boned a lot of them.
Well, she boned one of them.
Oh, we'll get into it. She boned Kang.
Oh, you reckon?
Oh, yeah. She had needs. If she had sex with Bill Murray,
yeah,
she's definitely having sex with Kang when they've got nothing else for 40 years.
Yeah, but they had something to do. Just fix the machine.
And bang! I think it's one or the other.
That's our history of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which I will argue is pretty much just here's what you could have won with the Kang Dynasty, with a tiny little bit of, and they just made a Quantumania movie. But really, honestly, the story of Quantumania and the story of its production is it failed. And because it failed, Marvel went into a spiral.
Yeah. Yeah, because if Majors didn't get arrested and found guilty in court and all that stuff, like you said, it sounds like he would have had a diminished role going forward anyway. Yeah. Maybe just relegated to Loki season 2.
I think they would have, because I said this with in the Patreon comments of our. I didn't say it in the episode. I forgot to say it in the episode. I said in some of the comments in our Patreon post we put up for the trailer reaction for Doomsday, even if Jonathan Majors had not had the accusations against him, even if all of that, and this was still a Kang movie, it still would have been about Robert Downey Jr. It still would have been about Chris Evans coming back. It still would have been about the Russos returning. It still would have been about Marcus and McFeely writing the script. It still would have been about Thor becoming proper Thor again, because that's what they needed to do. So he would have just been the next villain for a Avengers movie, but the focus is the return of all your favorites.
What a spectacular failure. I guess Majors is the final big failure. I know we've got the Marvels to come, but really, when we're entering phase 4, we've got an MCU we're building around Captain Marvel, Spider-Man, and Black Panther. Black Panther passes away. Sony disputes over Spider-Man. Captain Marvel doesn't work. Maybe we're building it with Bob Iger as well. He's gone. And now Chapek is telling us to do all the TV stuff. Don't worry, we've got Majors. He's our last Hail Mary chance.
It's such a good performance.
The film doesn't work. He's found guilty for domestic assault. Well, we've got to go back.
Yeah. It's the only thing we've got left to do.
Yeah.
But what a different timeline, speaking of, multiverse and timelines, a different timeline we would be in if Quantumania hadn't failed. If Quantumania was a hit, they wouldn't have been having these big panic discussions.
Yeah.
I mean, they would have done because, there were other failings, like the Marvels was going to tank. But if Marvels was the only one and you had a big hit with Quantumania, if Quantumania had done $700 million at the box office, you'd be like, oh, well, it's fine. That's just a blip. We made some mistakes on that one, but we made some mistakes on Eternals. It's nothing to panic about. This one was a hit, and we're going with Jonathan Majors.
We've got the X-Men in our back pocket. Fantastic Four. Deadpool and Wolverine made loads of money, and they're in the Kang Dynasty, apparently.
Well, yeah, one of the videos I watched said that the opening scene of Kang Dynasty is the Kang Council having ritualistic sacrifices of mutants and the X-Men.
Whoa.
And draining them of their blood.
Damn.
Yeah. It's not in a couple of the other videos I watched. So again, that's the other reason why I'm like, a lot of this smells like nonsense or like hearsay. And I was chatting to a friend down the pub who had read the script and they told me what this is. So now I've made a YouTube video about it, but I've forgotten some of the other things they said. So there is a timeline in which if Quantumania was not a failure, they might still gone with, and we wouldn't be looking at Robert Downey Jr. coming back. But unfortunately, with that being a failure, and the Marvels being a failure, back-to-back failures, and She-Hulk being, there's sort of like, there's VFX shots that are out of focus. But there's those domino effects that all go back to Bob Chapek, make me content, make it fast, make it cheap.
And Iger comes back, a couple of months after Ant-Man?
Yeah, and he's like, oh man, we have diluted this, we need to course correct. And the only way to course correct is to get the band back together.
And that is the one thing I hope for Doomsday, that yes, we've had to take 20 steps backwards to 2019, but can they then relaunch a good phase 6 off the back of it?
Yeah. Do you think they can?
Look, films, there's not really a precedent for it, but there wasn't a precedent for the MCU before the MCU existed. In comic books, this is just a fact of life.
It's part of the course.
You will have a hot period where Marvel, oh my God, they can do no wrong for 6 years. Oh no. They tried the new thing and it's awful.
Yeah.
Or,
press the reset button.
I've lived through 4 distinct periods of DC comic book, it was like properly reading often month to month. And it'll be the best thing beating Marvel. Then the New 52 happens. It's a failure. Then there's the whatever one came after that. That's a failure. And then the next thing was a failure. And Marvel were just like, you can't beat them. Everything they're putting out is critically acclaimed. But hey, right now, the Absolute series is the most exciting thing in comic books. And Marvel's version of it, Ultimates 2, started well, but has sort of whimpered out.
Yeah.
So these things do come in cycles. We see it in wrestling is another example. AEW is hot right now. WWE is not. That won't be the case in a couple of years. It will flip.
Yeah.
So historically, there is precedent for MCU to find its groove again, to restore the feeling. Whether this is the one that does it, I don't know, because it does feel desperate. And whether audiences will actually care enough, again, maybe they won't.
Yeah, maybe it's, as I said earlier, comic book audiences and movie audiences are just different audiences. Like the hardcores will be there on day one. It's going to be that second week drop-off. I guess it'll be the real test to see. Because I guarantee you, Doomsday will have a great opening weekend. It'll have a really big opening weekend. It's whether or not they're there for week 2. Anyway, that is Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. If you want to hear our full scene-by-scene breakdown of this movie, head on over to patreon.com/cutscene, where we'll be going through it scene by scene, giving our thoughts on the movie as a whole.
Yeah, we'll have a live brown scale to see how brown that scene is.
Or purple.
Or slightly orange. And yeah, we will be putting it in our overall worst movies ever table.
Yeah.
Where does it sort of rank for you?
Oh, fascinating.
Because we usually give that's out of date now, that big.
Yeah.
We've got and we'll be doing the Chekhov's list.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of them that I was ticking off as we were doing it. Because you can actually tick off, I can't remember the exact wording of it, but unnecessarily good performance.
For Kang, yeah, definitely.
Well, I was going to say for Michelle Pfeiffer.
she's not that good.
She is giving it her. She's giving us some socks.
It's not an actually good performance, though. She's just competently doing the exposition. Unlike Michael Douglas. He's like, oh, the ants.
I'm just going to keep saying the word ants over and over.
Yeah. Worst movie ever. Worst movie ever list. Oh, the Wi-Fi is not good today. It's opened. Here we go. I've got it.
You got it?
All right.
I should really get up on it because I could put it up on the screen.
So Thor: Love and Thunder was at 17.
Okay.
And Iron Man 2 was at 16. So, and then Thor: The Dark World is 15. So I feel like it's Thor: Dark World level for me. All of the MCU is in this bottom quarter, really, apart from the Eternals, which is the 5th worst one.
Skip to the laptop there.
Better or worse than Thor: The Dark World?
Yeah, that's where you got it at the moment.
Well, for me, yeah. So maybe it's...
I enjoyed this more than Thor: The Dark World.
So you'd put it at like 16. Did you enjoy it more or worse than Iron Man 2?
Oh, yeah, you've got to go up, haven't you? You've got to go the other way. Yeah, I think it's better than Iron Man 2.
Is it better or worse than Love and Thunder?
Yeah, it's better than Love and Thunder.
Is it better or worse than Age of Ultron? Good farm scene.
We do love that farm scene. It's pretty good.
A suit of armor around the entire world.
Do I like this more than Age of Ultron? That's a really good question.
I'm surprised because I feel like people go, "Oh, Quantumania."
Honestly,
that's up there with the Eternals or whatever.
I was that guy. I was the, and I've said it on this show many times. Oh man, when we get to Quantumania, that film stinks. I actually, I was about to say I really enjoyed it. That's a stretch. I did not feel as numb the second time around watching it. I came away from it on this one being like, it's way better than I remember it being.
I think, yeah, I don't. For me, it could be worse than Thor: The Dark World. Just in the...
Oh, wow. You're putting it up there.
We're only debating over a few places. It's not
but
crazy.
Usually we're like 1 or 2 places out from each other.
Well, we'll see when we do the full play-by-play.
Yeah, I mean, I might find more to dislike about it.
Yeah, because honestly, I really hate the ending. I think the ending's such a cop-out. I know you like it with the, did I do the right thing? Yeah. I think it's such a TV episodic reset back to where we were.
Yeah. In your defense to that, and it's sort of like my criticism and sort of like the offense you could give to it, I think a lot of I really like that is the idea that it proposes. This idea that you've watched a movie where you think that this Kang is the bad guy, and then there's a real switch up moment of being like, oh no, shit, he's the good one. He's the Kang that we needed, and without him, we're screwed.
I already had that for the rest of the film.
See, I didn't.
When Kang was talking about it, I believed him.
No, because I think that it was like, it's almost like the Council of Kangs were the ones that they're the good guys in a way. And he's the worst one. That's why he was exiled. And they would have to get rid of the worst one. But anyway, we'll find out more about that in the scene-by-scene breakdown and give our official positioning for it. Head on to patreon.com/cutscene. We will see you over there, but we'll see you next month for... I'm going to be staggered to see if this one is better than I remember it being. The Marvels.
Is that the end of our MCU run and then it's the X-Men movies?
It's the end of our MCU run and then we're going to go on to the X-Men, which will carry us through until December when we get to do we get to review Doomsday. And we're going to be kicking off our X-Men run with X-Men 3, The Last Stand, which is dog shit.
We're going back to the mid-noughties.
Yeah! I mean, if anything, that's actually because I talk about when me and my friends went to go see it at university and were livid about it on the way home, ranting and raving, smoke, kind of like chain smoking ciggies to be like, and another thing about that movie. That's in a couple of months' time. But next month it is The Marvels. See you then. Love you. Bye. Anyway, this is an entry back on topic. We weren't going to do this.
No, this was added by...
We were bullied into it.
Yeah, by unpopular demand, I suppose is the right way to say it. Not just from you wonderful cutscene viewers, but from people in the office. Adam Whitney, one of